YouTube, I'll be on in a minute. I'm just going to adjust some stuff. Put a bass backing track on. Playing my favourite song of the day. Hey, Pontiac! Hold on, just got Pontiac, give me 2 seconds till it officially starts. I really should start till 8, seeing as I broadcast it would be. Hey, Daniel! I am from the Iowa border. I can feel an island tower. This is my island. This is my island. The sheep and bacon till the day we die. Hey, JP! Hey YouTube, I'm here. Yeah, that's my favourite band of today. Pete and Diesel are called, from the Outer Hebrides, and I've just got like sometimes like folk music. I used to watch. There's a thing we get in Britain or Scotland called Celtic Connections by the BBC, where they kind of show sort of folk music and stuff. And the best thing about the folk music thing is, see when it's fast and upbeat, I love it. But see when it's really, really slow, which some of it is, or it's just like an unaccompanied guy singing, not so my thing. But I was in the Blitzkrieg shop, which is in Glasgow, and the guy was saying, "Oh, you not heard Pete and Diesel?" I was like, "Who? Pete who?" And then he put on that the video that I linked in the actual description, called "This Is My Island," and it's like after about 3 seconds, it's like, "Yeah, I like this. This is awesome." And it's like one of those ones where it just immediately goes da 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 da. You're like, "Yes, yeah, some of that." As long as it's fast. Hey, Jonathan Johnson. Yeah, so this is the premiere. I was going to do a video earlier on today, but I didn't get around to it. This is my version of the Tony Iommi Monkey guitar. I haven't bought. Look at the grain on this guitar. It's a vintage SG, like an older one. The modern ones don't look like an SG anymore. I think Gibson maybe had something to say about it, and kind of they made this horn longer. It kind of looks a wee bit more like, is it the ESP Viper? Kind of going in that direction, where it's just like not quite an SG. So basically, I put a badass style bridge on it, John Birch style pickup covers, pickup rings, and silver P90s. Is that all I did to it? And took a shitload of stickers off it. So it's kind of like when I started doing this, it was £22,000 to buy the proper Gibson Tony Iommi model, which is quite a lot of money. But they've since brought out a cheap version. It's only like, I think it's £3,500 for like what is basically a Gibson SG Special, but it's got P90s in it. Actually, for this, I did buy. Well, I had an actual Leo Kwan Badass bridge, which I bought on eBay for a tenner for my BC Rich Wave before things happened with that and ended up putting a Wonder Bar on it. So I was going to use that. But just as a wee look, because I remember seeing on when I was watching Trogley's thing about the Tony Iommi Monkey, the official one, and it doesn't even have a real badass bridge. I was like, all right, I've got a real badass bridge. I looked them up, and someone was selling one for 90 quid. So I'm not putting it on this guitar. So this is just a very, very similar looking bridge. I also went to John Birch, who actually made Tony Iommi's guitar and the pickups, and originally I bought pickup rings so I could say it's got hey Jez, so I could say genuine John Birch pickups in the advert. This is going well. So it's relict. Yeah. What the hell happened there? I think that's, to be honest, the first time I've dropped a guitar proper in about 10, 15 years. Yeah, it's like because I was holding up the two pickup rings to show you, I wasn't holding on to the guitar. Normally when it goes, I can catch it. That time it just went. But it's relic, and it's all real relicing. You can't. If I'd intentionally dropped it to make it look like Tony Iommi's, it wouldn't have worked. It had to be. It kind of landed. It only fell like a foot. Yeah, but as I was saying, the John Birch pickup rings are too thick. And also he sent me one, I don't know if you can see that, one is for a bizarre pickup. I had to get another one. So, and they were too thick for this guitar. I don't know if I think this, strap locks could be thick. Oh, I can see what's happened there. Look, it's flipping round. There's a bit of a curve going on there. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, strap locks would probably be an idea. To be honest, I haven't actually dropped a guitar proper for, I think probably 10 years. Luckily, it didn't land on the neck. It landed in the body, so and because it's not a Gibson, the headstock didn't come off. So there's that. So if this had been a real, genuine Tony Iommi one worth £22,000 and I dropped it, the headstock would probably have snapped off, and that would have been a really bad thing. Hey, Joachim, how's your blister blazer? Hey, Bundy, you broke a Gibson Les Paul standard headstock in 2010. I only have one Gibson. I've only ever owned one. No, I've got an EBO. It's all right, but my SG Special, the one I bought when I was 20, the one I bought, I decided I would treat myself once I could play all of War Pigs, and then one came up at a good price, and it's red. I remember being on the phone to my boss when I was working as a removals man, and then just screaming because I could see it. I was standing at the other side of my room, and I just sat it on the floor, and I just watched it slowly go, and it just went boing, just landed like that, doing, and it just cracked split the head all the way up there. It didn't come off, it just split it. And it was like, of all the guitars I had, it was the most expensive one at the time. And I was like, oh. Luckily, a lovely guy in Kelvin Delta Music, I wish I could remember the guy's name, helped me. The shop's not there anymore. So basically, I went in for a neck repair. And then the first thing he said was, you're right. Well, Jack, go for a fag. It's a cigarette in Scotland. Was that yeah, sure. He goes up, you're right. I just if I'm in the shop, the guy who owns the shop's going to charge me. He's going to have to do it properly, sort of thing. And he's like, well, basically, I'll just glue it and clamp it. I was like, I don't really care what it looks like. It's kind of fine as long as it's strong. So I went back down the following day, and he'd all he'd done was fill it with PU glue and clamped it and charged me a tenner. So I'm not complaining at all. Hey, Jeff, yeah. The headstock thing's about. it's a bad one. Yeah, but I mean, it's just in here. I've not started drinking yet. Hold on. Oh, cheers to Jez there, and EE Band, who's not. I think he's Australian because he sent me Australian dollars. Or maybe he's American, sent me American dollars. Who bought this week's refreshments? Awesome in the super chat thing. So that's super duper. Cheer or no, I should really give it. You should always give. Yeah, being classy. Bit of a shake. Get it going. Yeah. It's been a week. A week since my last one. This is tonight. I'm going to drop. I've got like. I'm just going to knock that over if I put it anywhere. Get half a can of juice now if I put it there. That means if I still it, it's going to like that, there, that, there, that, there. Sorry, rocking. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Gibson thing is bad. That's the whole thing. See, keeping it on a stand. I was actually talking to Scott about this yesterday. It's like, you know, the sort of tripody stands you get. It's just that they're okay. It's not going to fall over on its own right, but the slightest knock in the thing, and it's not like it falls. If it's just sitting on the floor, it falls from this height. But if it's sitting on a stand, it's going to fall from there. So the chances of it taking a much bigger swing are really high. So it's kind of scary. It's the whole idea of that. I don't know. You kind of get used to it. Is it a good idea having the angled back headstock? It does get rid of the, the reason for having string trees, but I don't know. There is something that feels kind of right about a angled back headstock. Well, like if it's straight, like it is on a Strat, it feels fine on a Strat. But if you put like a straight headstock on an SG, maybe it's just because that's what we're all used to. It's just like something's really wrong. What's going on? Because it's just straight. Hey John, what's my rarest or most expensive guitar? The most expensive guitar I ever bought was my Schecter Telly. I guess it's the rarest because I've never seen another one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've ever. I see other ones I've never seen for sale. I've got quite a lot of guitars. I've never seen another one for sale ever. But the Schecter Telly, I've never seen another one the same ever. I've seen ones that are kind of similar, but maybe it's got a maple neck instead of the rosewood neck, and it's maybe but there's one with binding on it. But that's not the same guitar. I've never seen one. It might be the only one, sort of, because they were parts guitars. Yeah. Now, so that's what's put my limit on the price of guitars. That the Schecter Telly. Oh, okay. The most expensive one I ever bought was the Schecter bass. Before I knew what I was doing, and my second most expensive was the Gibson SG Special. 350 quid, pretty good for a Gibson SG Special though. Like 20 years ago. And then it's the Schecter Telly, and then everything else costs less than that because I will not go above that unless it's better than the Schecter Telly. And to be honest, it's not really very likely there are there any guitars in the world better than Schecter Telly? Arguably, you could say there aren't. It's kind of like the Schecters are sort of. They were a parts company, but they made better parts for improvements on your telly. So it's kind of, when it was new in 1985 or something like that, it was the closest thing you could get to a 50s telly, like, that quality level. Miles better than anything Fender had done since the 50s type thing. According to the blurb, I kind of agree with it. Yeah, hold on. I'm getting caught up. I'll just catch up. I'll try and keep a question on the page. If you really want something, you can super chat me £1 and it'll come up and I'll definitely answer it. But £2,200. Oh, you play silly money for an RDS Star Chat? I think I know someone that's got one. I had one. I just get rid of it because I think I didn't pay an awful lot of money for it. I paid £120 or something at the time. This is going back, I don't know, 5-6 years. You could still buy them new B stock direct from Aria, and they would not come down in the price. I think it was $220 they wanted for them, brand new direct from Aria. But because it was like a business site, I was like, "You're right. I'll give you 200." It was like, "You're no." Like, what? No haggle room at all. So I ended up not buying it and eventually got one. You do see them. They're good guitars. The Saltire Arias. It's a TA. There's other TAs. The one that had was it a TA 40. It's a slightly smaller body and a bit pointier. And if you buy the English flag one, not that you would, and the Welsh flag one, which has got a dragon on it, it's pretty cool. They're both the TA 40, which is like a 335, but a wee bit smaller and a little bit pointier, whereas the Saltire one's a TA 50, which is basically just a 335. Actually, my pal David's got the Epiphone one and the Aria Saltire, and it's like, which one's different? Which one's better? And he's just like, there's bits on either one that are slightly better. So it's just basically sort of equivalent spec of the Epiphone 335. Good guitar. I see the Music Man guitars. I would think so. Basically, anything you're buying that's old has got to go up in value. I mean, even things like looking at this, this is the vintage SG. I mean, obviously this is the Tony Iommi Monkey one. I don't know how much I'm going to get for this. You can actually buy the actual monkey sticker for these for 12 quid posted from America, and it's the same guy that makes the ones that they sold. He got an order for 150 of them from Gibson. Like that, someone ordered 150 of these stickers, and it was to put on the actual £22,000 ones. So you can buy that exact sticker for like 12 quid. I was just going to, whoever buys this, you can buy the link. To be honest, I wasn't even aware that the monkey sticker was there until the Trogleys video. It was like, it's got the monkey sticker on it. Monkey sticker? He must have his arm over it in any picture I've seen. I've never noticed no monkey sticker. Yeah, Music Man. Do I even know what was it? Early Ball Music Man. I don't really know them very much. They've entered 3 great companies and they all got best at the end. Right, all right. They all got best just before we left. You mean? Yeah, I saw the thing. I think it was Anderton's. They went in the music. Was it Music Man? G&L have got Leo's desk still set up the same way it was, and there's like drawings on it for a guitar that he was working on next, which is like a totally amazing big metal sort of Telecaster control plate, but it had like active pickups and stuff. And apparently they made it last year or 2 years ago, whenever they did the video. They made Leo's final design sort of thing. I don't know what a G&L L1000 bass is. Is it very much? I mean, the Music Man do the Stingray bass. The Stingray bass is basically just a P bass, apart from it's got a circular scratch plate. Yeah. I was talking to Buster earlier on. He's bought a Vox bass. He got it for a really good price, kind of like very similar to mine, but from a couple of years earlier. Yeah, Stingrays are great. Well, I'm saying that I've never played a real one. Is it vintage again? Is it vintage to them? The vintage copy's fantastic. And for me, it's like I don't know. It's all the look thing. We're having the circular scratch plate. It's just a little bit weird. But who's to know how close that is to a real one? These ones they're so expensive. I don't look at them. They're out my price range anyway. But I suppose do they have the big pickup in it? Because I've got a couple of those. The MM pickup. You always see them. The bass pickup that's got pole pieces the size of your thumb. I put 2 of them into an Ibanez 5-string bass, like 5-string versions, and whoa, they are so powerful. It's pure ridiculous. I've got them pure recessed into the body. They're just so damn loud. Because they're just like, it's just the old pure. Oh, how do you make it louder? Just make it bigger. Put bigger magnets and more winds and that. Just like it's like a mega pickup. Fantastic things. I had to kind of. I'm not sure. I had them wired as humbuckers, but the problem with that Ibanez bass was that the pickups in it were rubbish. They were like jazz bass pickups, but they had plastic covers on them, and they didn't quite cover the outside strings. They weren't quite wide enough. Like a pure fault for an Ibanez. They only made the one I've got for a year though, and it was the cheapest one. So it's like, if you're going to put 4-string pickups into a 5-string bass, they've got to be like the bar magnet ones, and the bar has to be wide enough to go in below all the strings. If it doesn't, then I had a similar problem with a Hondo 12-string Stratocaster I had, that you could move the pickup, or that you could move the scratch plate up or down a bit, but there was no way that it would pick up the high E and the low E at the same time. It was one or the other. So to get around that, I bought hot rail type pickups, and the magnets on them are just the rails are a bit wider, so it did cover it. It's the way around that. If you've got funny string spacing, either too thin or too wide, or a funny number of strings or something, just buy bar magnet ones or hot rails. They used to be really cheap. I don't know what they are now. I mean, I was buying them for, I think they were £6 a pop from China, and it's like, the thing is, they sound really good. Like if you've got like even just like a cheapy guitar with the pickups, you get the really cheap single coil strap pickups that don't pick up the high E at all. It's like, it's just that they're not powerful enough to pick it up. Something, just stick one of those hot rails in it and forget the other two pickups, just wire it straight to the volume. You're in there, it'll be rocking. Yeah, what are the bases on the wall? These are new. Yeah, I've got a video of them which I will put out this week, but I will play them in a minute. I'll maybe put one of them on. I've already played the Tony Iommi SG video coming this week. I don't know how much can I get away with charging for this? I don't know. It's like, if you're a mad Black Sabbath fan, which I'm sure there's lots of folk like me, even if you don't play the guitar, having like a Tony Iommi guitar you can hang on the wall must be worth something. Regardless, really, of, rather than spend £2,500 for the crappy looking one, or £22,000 for basically one that looks like this. It's not perfect. Tony's one has spots on it because it's a studio model. So this has got the bars also. I'm not hiding the fact that it's a vintage and not a Gibson. I'm not bothered with that at all. Yeah. So bass number 1 is an Ibanez GAX B. So a 32-inch scale. I got a couple of these. Actually, I kind of don't want to duplicate the video I'm going to put out later, but for when I got it and I'm talking about it. But it works. It's got a volume control. That'll be the guitar amp. There. That'll be the bass amp. So it's like I don't know. I've got a Hondo bass very similar to this, and it's got like a 3-position switch on it, even though it's only got one pickup. And in the videos, I'll try to work out what it does. But now I know what it does. Basically, it's got 2 caps on it. So down is no cap. Up is a sort of a half value cap. So it's like having the tone control at half, maybe. And then having it in the middle is like having the tone control at full. So instead of having like a variable dial, you've just got off, halfway on, and then fully on. Which, to be honest, I'm not sure it's going to stay in it. It does look like a Vantage, yes. There is a Vantage that looks very much like this, and I suppose a wee bit like my Washburn wing as well, sort of thing. And a wee bit, I suppose, like a double cut Les Paul. It does have like it's carved around the outside. It's quite nice. I don't think the Hondo is. And it's actually got a really good looking bridge on it with Ibanez stamped saddles. But funny saddles. Like if you lose one of the saddles, you're not finding another one that fits, because the screw doesn't go into the middle of the saddle, it goes into the side. So it's kind of, like it's almost like that sort of shape. Like a hook. So I think when I saw it, it only had 3 strings on it. And I was like, oh, but I mean, saying that, you just batter a P-bass bridge on that, would be fine. But I mean, I was really impressed. My pal Alan's got the guitar version of this, the GAX 70 or something, and it's fine. As you can see, actually, you can see him suffering a little bit of neck dive, but it's not a heavy guitar, but it's just a wee bit annoying when you're trying to drink a bottle of Bucky while you're talking. Blonde one with maple neck. I'm getting a wee bit behind. Oh, you're talking about Mexican tellies. Trying to Google Buckfast, Buckfart, Buckstart, Bankfast. What the fuck are you drinking? Cheers, Pearsons. I can't find that stuff in Sweden. Well, fair enough. I would have thought if you typed in, there must be Buckfast. If you type in Buckfast guitar, I bet you find a picture of me. This is one of those things. Any Red Bull to do a Bucky bomb? No, but actually, good thinking. The thing about Red Bull is Red Bull actually would lower the caffeine content. But oh no, Bucky, they put it down, didn't they? It used to be 35 milligrams. I think it's only 30 now, and Red Bull's 32. So it used to be a case of you would actually, if you drank that much and then put a can of Red Bull in, which is what you're talking about, you'd obviously be reducing the alcohol content, but you'd also be reducing the volume of caffeine. I'm going to put in some of this Magnum, which I started drinking last week, I think, to do a sort of Magnum bomb, because this is 16.5%. So it's actually stronger. I don't know if it's got caffeine in it. It doesn't tell you. But this is kind of like a sort of like Benylin. And actually, I really enjoyed it last time. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pour it into it and then have a wee bit of a... Yeah, so bear with me 2 seconds while You're not meant to mix your drinks, but I'm going to. This is the time when I'm going to spill it in it because... And you've got a full bottle of bucky again. Yeah. That's the way to go. It also gives me an excuse to drink more than a bottle of bucky. Actually, to be honest, it kind of takes a bit of the taste away of the bucky. I might not do that again. I felt I was really impressed with it last time. Maybe it's because I thought maybe I'd made a mistake, but to be honest, it just kind of tastes like Magnum. I hate what is it that makes it taste like Benylin? That really is. Yeah. No, but I think joking, I think you can get if you look on Amazon, you can probably get it delivered. It might work out being quite expensive though, but it's amazing stuff. And basically, Scotland runs on the stuff. Yeah, I'll just call it a Malco. Not a Malco's cocktail. I like your idea. We need a cheesy beano. It's like a cheesy beano. Is that's just cheese, sort of cheese on toast with beans on top of it? Is it? I don't know. Bass is a nice sound for funk. Maybe, yeah. I was actually playing along with Jesse Ray. Was doing a live broadcast when he was sitting in his back garden, live songwriting, and I was playing along with it. Was it on this bass? I think it was actually on this bass. And I was going to just film it, even though I hadn't told him. I was just watching him on Facebook, and I was going to play along. It was a really good tune, and I hit record, and then he ended it. He just went, "All right, see you later." And I'm like, ah. So I forgot it badly. Maybe get it next time. I wish I could play funk. I get funk now, but I didn't when I was in the funk band playing with Jesse. It's like I could play it, but I didn't get it. It's all the playing on the one. I don't know. I can't do slap bass. Playing on the one on it. Worcester sauce in it. I don't know. Is it you maybe putting too much in? I have fun. Actually, the only reason I could ever play any slap bass was because I had an acoustic bass at one point, which I sold because acoustic basses aren't loud enough, like acoustically. And if you're going to have to take an amp anyway, take a real bass because it doesn't take up as much room. So you're much better off just having this bass and a portable amp and an amp, a big amp, than you are having an acoustic bass. So whenever I was playing the acoustic bass, I was always playing. There was actually the keyboard player in my band used to play acoustic, and his volume was, how hard can you hit it? Always. So whenever there was any chords, it was just da 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 da. And it's like, if you've got somebody who's doing gentle finger picking and can appreciate the fact that your guitar doesn't go very loud or your bass doesn't go very loud, they'll play to suit you, which maybe would work on an acoustic bass. But I ended up just having to absolutely thump it because that was how you got it louder. Didn't sound good, but it was the only way you could hear it. There's Bucky Freeze. I don't know. It's 15% alcohol. I'm sure somebody must have made Bucky Ice lollipops. It must be a thing. Imitating a lembic. Yeah, I think no. I mean, sorry, not no, but there's another band. Like you're talking about the Vantage is kind of like that. That, not this is obviously a guitar, but this whole neck through shitloads of brass, fancy electrics type thing was the story I heard from it, which is actually from the guy who designed that. The guy whose dad owned the company, Hiro San, his name is. He went to Canada in the mid-70s to A, learn how to speak English, and B, learn how to make guitars. And he worked for a company called Odyssey. And if you ever look up an Odyssey guitar, there's one that makes that look not fancy, but it's basically the same sort of thing. Odyssey guitars, nobody knows what they are, but there was a guy that had one in Glasgow. The wiring didn't work. It was one of the pickups was the switch was intermittent or something, which I could totally fix, made it cheaper. And the guy wanted, I think it was 600 quid for it, which is, it's twice my limit, but I was totally willing to go for it. And it's just like, everything's brass on it, but this one, everything was brass on it. It's like, it was just so much brass and so fancy and hand carved and pure, carved in the top, carved in the back. It was just an amazing looking thing. I think that and Alembic were obviously more basses, but a similar kind of look, going for the making out of solid rosewood and stuff like that. And then that was the sort of first one that kind of looked like that. And then there's lots after that kind of look like that, Vantage being one of them, where the Vantages are that looks like that, and the Aria Pros are significantly cheaper built than that. They're still amazing guitars, totally, but they're not as extreme as that. They're a bit more somewhere between that and a normal guitar. Still neck through, but not with a solid rosewood top and shit like that on it. But yeah, obviously, no, I've never played an Alembic. Some of them are, none of them are ugly, I don't think, but they're very busy looking. You don't get one that kind of looks like this, where you've got like, it's very simple. All the Alembics are always wow, there's so much to look at. You can just look at that wee bit there, and there'll be more interesting things in that than there are in most whole guitars, or that this wee bit here, just because of crazy carved and burrow maple. And I think they might have been one of the first basses ever to go active, with preamp circuits and all these things. This style of bass is a copy of a Gibson. Are you thinking of the Grabber and the Ripper? Sort of, yeah. I think it's a little bit more, I don't know. Actually, when you say Vantage, something to see, because it's the chamfer here and the chamfer here, I totally see that being a Vantage from the Vantage Avenger I've got, actually. It's when I say Strat style, it's basically like this, apart from what the top horn's a bit longer. I remember seeing there was I can't remember if it was a Grabber or a Ripper. I think it was a Ripper in a wee dodgy shop near the Barras, and it was 300 quid. And this thing was glitter, like the way Glastron speedboats are, like flake finish. I think it was lime green, and the neck, even the fretboard, it was fretless. The fretboard was glitter as well, and it was really cheap. It looked amazing, but I didn't want to risk. I'd never heard of a Grabber bass. They didn't exist in any guitar shops at the time. It was like from the 70s or something, and it was really cheap, and it was like suspiciously cheap. And I never bought it because I didn't want a fretless bass. Now, obviously, I would go back and buy it immediately. I don't know if it had the sliding pickup. There's one of the Grabbers, or the Ripper has the pickup somehow slides up here, so you can. This is like kind of a bridge, or a sort of bridge to middle pickup. You make it a neck pickup up here, just physically move it. I think you had to unscrew it to do that, and you had like blanking plates that covered up the gaps, but definitely you had a sort of moving pickup. Yeah, I know the Vantage you're talking about. I can't remember. I don't think it had a good name. I think it's like a like a V100 or a V300 or something. When I say good name, it wasn't like a Vantage. Do have a guitar which I always fancied called a Ghost Witch, or a Witch, which is kind of actually doesn't look unlike this shape wise. It's like a sort of mahogany bodied sort of double cut, and it's called a Witch or a Super Witch. It's called that. That's a name rather than being a this one's a GAX 100B or GX 200B. Can't remember. That just kind of depends, I suppose, on how many guitars you're putting out. I was watching a thing earlier on about Ibanez guitars, and it was like, this is the new Ibanez bass, and it was like, SLP/5 247 PBX 2 bag or sort of thing, just to try and get it. The Witch, the first non-copy guitar. It could have been. Did Vantage do copies? Well, I don't know. I don't really know that much about Vantage. Vantage is a sort of strange company, because I've got two of them just now. One of them's Purple Sparkle Flake, a Vantage Avenger. It's amazing. and it's all brass. It's really good. And I've got a later on one, which actually, see if you look on eBay used listings, there was another one exactly the same as the black one I've got, and it had postage on it, like a 20 quid postage, and it went for £37 for a Japanese knock the pants off most Strats in the world, although it's a bit Knight Rider-y looking. A Canadian company, Vantage, right? But they obviously they subcontracted out and they got them built in Japan. Fair enough. I mean, I think that's the same as Washburn, to be honest. They were like an American company, but not an American guitar. Somebody bought them and took it over. Ari are different. Ari are where the guy's name was Mr. Arai. So the very first ones are Arai, and then it became Aria because they went, oh, you know, Aria is dead similar to Aria, like the musical term. And it's like, we'll do that. So that's where Aria came from. I think, to be honest, West Tone is meant to be like pure guitars for the West. And I know that my favorite one is Hondo. Hondo, great American name. And you're like, immediately, if you don't know anything about guitars, Honda, Japanese, aye. And it's like, no, what they went was, we're going to make our new range of guitars, and we're going to make them for, like, you know, the Western market. What's the most American name we can think of? And they looked up and went, John Wayne. Let's John Wayne. It's like, John Wayne. He does this TV series called Hondo. So there's nothing more American than Hondo. We'll take Hondo and put it in guitar headstocks. And you're like, okay. That's if you ever noticed, if you ever search for Hondo, like after you've gone through 10 guitars, you'll see box sets for some TV series, some cowboy TV series with John Wayne in it. Yeah, I think the Vantage Avenger is one of those. It's definitely a sleeper. If you're looking for a guitar and you're looking for basically £1,000 guitar, but you want to spend £200 on one, look at Vantage Avengers. Avengers a great name though, isn't it? So if it was just, I mean, mine's an AV325. I think the 315's got single coils and the 325's got humbuckers. Or, you know, it's one of those things where the number just kind of tells you the pickup layout and whether it's got a tremolo. But it's still a. What was it in? You said Hondo 2 made in Japan early 80s. Yes, some Hondo 2s were made in Japan in the early 80s. The one that looks like this. Actually, I saw one of these go 2 weeks ago on eBay for 120 quid. The Hondo Japanese version made by Matsumoku. Basically, so similar to this, apart from it's got an amazing neck join. This one has a normal neck join. The Hondo one kind of comes up here. So you get the heels kind of onto the neck and then it joins there. So it's kind of, the neck is still bolt on, would probably still fit on this. In fact, I bet it would fit on this bass, but it's kind of like an extra bit stuck on here to get a smooth transition for this flat bit is. But actually, in many ways, basically this bass, even down to the 32-inch scale, it's got the 3-point bridge like an Epiphone and a super distortion type pickup. But I'll dig it out and do a wee comparison with this with that, because it's very similar too. Hondo 2 Japan's a sleeper now as well. Hondo when they started off with their name and stuff, they were Korean. I think it's actually Samick. The company either is Samick or became Samick. Started making guitars in Korea, like just copies, and they were bad. And then the idea was they in 1980 or 1979, I think 80 and 81, I think of the years that were Japanese, they saw that the Americans were using the Japanese companies to make their guitars, like your Washburns and Vantage and all that, and then an Epiphone as well were one of them at the time. So they ordered like a guitar that looked like this, but had this sort of, it's not that it wasn't neck through, but it kind of looked like it was in the front. Sort of Les Paul Jr. and a bass version and an 8-string bass version from Matsumoku, and they also ordered some Fendery type ones from Tokai, being a Fender lead shape, and I think there might have been a P bass and a Rickenbacker, not a Rickenbacker, a Dan Electro. You know, is it a Guitarlin, the one that's got the 36 frets, the Longhorn, that from Tokai. And then they basically, because they were ordering stuff from them, they went in and it's like, I would like to see how they're made. So they went in to see how they're made, remembered everything, then went back. So anything after 1980 or 1981 is Korean. But they've learned how to make guitars because they'd contracted the Japanese factories who knew what they were doing. They just went in and copied the way this is how you make a neck. Oh, write that down. Kind of the same thing happened. I can't remember who it was. Was it someone who used to work for Gibson or something went over to like Ibanez or Fujigen or one of these factories and said, no, you're doing that wrong, and told them how to build guitars, basically. The idea. Hey, Rennie. Market flooded with PVT series. PV Patriot. I should know what they are. Is Patriot the mad? It looks like a spaceship one. It's like, I don't know. It's not like an Explorer, but it's pointy. And they look amazing. The T series are meant to be fantastic. Whenever you read any reviews about any of the T series, I think there's a TA50 and a T50 or a T5. Any review immediately says these are amazing, fantastic, best guitars in the world. My God, they're heavy. So I mean, I saw one on Ugly Guitars the other day, and someone had just drilled. They'd obviously got like a Forstner bit, and they just drill holes all the way through the guitar. It's like just try and get rid of some of the weight, because apparently they absolutely weigh a ton. It was also the first guitar ever to be made with a CNC machine, apparently. So that'd be mid-70. Patriot's a Strat style. I think my pal, I don't know. See, the thing about the PV ones, because you're in America, you're much more likely to get PVs cheap, like the American PVs. Whereas obviously when they come to UK, they get import taxes and all that crap put on them, so they were never cheap. Never cheap the way they are in America. Because I keep seeing it. It's like folks not selling them, but people who bought like a pure bargain Washburn in America. It's like, this was only $100. You're like, what? It's like £500 over here if you can find one. And that's from one that nobody knows what it is. Whereas in America, there's obviously lots of them, and people just go, well, they just look at it. Oh, it cost me $200 in 1980. It's a bit dirty. It's only got 5 strings on it. I don't know. Was it worth $50? That kind of thing happens. Doesn't happen here. But you might find like the Stratty one would maybe be a bit more expensive, because people go, it will just be a complete Strat copy, and they're going, oh, how much is an American Strat? Oh, it's $1,000. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Ruben. I think I've been missing, and I've been going back. I've just been keeping it. I've just been following the chat as it comes in, rather than actually looking back and doing it in any sort of order. I'll just look back till I see something I haven't seen, and then I'll come back and see what's going on. Pontiac's talkable tonight. More caffeine, faster solos. Yes, joking. I think that's probably that's the way I look at it. Yeah. We're talking about Mexican tellies. Oh, I've kind of caught up. What are the bases in the wall? There we go. So this one is an Ibanez. We've got that. I put a base onto models with. I assume you mean to model. But I suppose that the question with this is, I don't think they made it for very long. I think I looked them up on eBay, and there weren't any for sale. Well, there was one for sale. Well, there was one that sold like last month. I think maybe they only made it for a couple of years. And the answer is yes, it's better than an Epiphone EBO. It doesn't look like an EBO though, but it's a better bass. Just like everything apart from the fact it's not shaped like an SG, it's better than the Epiphone one. If you can find one. I don't really know. Going back's just confusing. I'll just keep down at the bottom. Hey, Dace. Right. Hello. Hey, Dammit. The PVs are basically the same, but better than 90s Fender. Could be. Dammit. Is it the Patriot you've got? I think I started mentioning that got a bit sidetracked. No, it's a Predator you've got, isn't it? More mushrooms, better psychedelic tone. It's been a while. It's 20 years since the mushrooms, but I don't know if I remember playing the bass. I don't think I could play the guitar then. I don't know. Apparently, I've heard many people who are in the recording booth. Basically, if LSD didn't exist, Jimi Hendrix wouldn't have played Purple Haze and all that because they were all tripping at their brain for all the recording, all the mad sounds and stuff. And to be honest, it kind of sounds like that. Same as like bits of Sgt. Pepper's and all, you listen to it, it's like, yeah. Well, Aria Pro 2 SB1000. That's an expensive guitar. Borrowed it, started at 14 years old to play level 42 in the funk band. That was heavyweight, I think. Yes. I mean, the SB1000 is, I've never had one. They're far too expensive. Falcon as well, Davy, you're right. I remember the Falcon. It was a Patriot. It was a Patriot. There's a few crazy looking PVs. Like if you on the pointy guitar page, you turn up ones that are like, they're all I can really say about them, they're definitely from 1984 or 1985, because that's when the maddest stuff came out, when you had things that just looked like a lightning bolt and stuff like that. Crazy ideas. Hey Matt, that's going good. The bucky is flowing, so the shit is being talked. The levels of accurate information are going down. So the more this goes down, the more opinion and the less fact, depending on how I feel at the time. Where's Mr. White? Yeah, where are you? I know. I think we need to get a good slagging of Blacktooth Fox on here as well, because he's still not got his laptop fixed. He's been putting up. Check out his channel. I think if you just type in Blacktooth Fox, I did that the other night. Last night I was round at Scott's house. And I was like, "Have you got a link?" And I was like, "No, his name's Blacktooth Fox." He just typed it in. There he appeared. So we watched a wee bit of that. Scott was arguing with you about, what was it? When you're modelling one, I was like, type it in, you'll like that. He's like, oh, no, I'm too nice. I'm like, no, get the boot in. So he's saying that he likes the modelling stuff and your effects units, just not the distortion or something. I don't know. It'd be nice to have a good proper fight, though. Maybe some sort of Brady Bunch type video would be quite good, when you can just be as aggressive as you want. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter. There is no right and there is no wrong. Really, I mean, I always slag off Les Pauls and stuff. I do accept that they are brilliant, and if you think they're amazing, I totally agree with you. Yes, just not for me. And we're all fighting for the same thing, you know what I mean? For your sound. Oh, hey, Mr. White, are you back? No. All right, Matt, I know who you are now. The mad charcoal grey telly. That was an amazing thing. Hey, Mr. White, you are there? Your wood never shrinks. Yeah. Very good. Anybody thought about wooden pickguards? I've got a Yamaha. I don't know if you saw the video. My pal gave me it was an expensive Yamaha, like an APX 900 or something like that, but it's totally been crushed. Someone's put their foot through it and it's smashed and the neck splits. I mean, it's basically, Scott gave me, he wants the tuners, and he said you can have the electrics out it, and I'm thinking of using like the back to make, like, because it's quite a fancy looking sort of veneery type wood. I was thinking maybe a Stratocaster scratch plate or something would be quite good. I think the thing about the wooden pickguards is you want to see if you've just got like a plain white Strat or maybe a plain black one, slap on a fancy wood scratch plate. If you've got like a natural coloured one and you put wood on, it becomes too much wood. It becomes too busy. You know, it's like there's a certain art to it. I always find it, maybe not so much about that, but like putting different coloured pickups in a guitar can either make it pure amazing or pure crap looking. And the same with knobs. And it's never really obvious which knobs. You can get a guitar, look at it and go, oh, that's not really, I don't like it. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, and then you put silver knobs on, suddenly it's like, it's like there's something about it. Like if you've got black knobs, but you've got a silver bridge, you want to have silver bridge and silver knobs, or sometimes different. It's amazing just how different it makes. And I've got a big box. I've put it in a bigger box so I don't have to pour it on the floor. Of just like, different coloured knobs and stuff from box of knobs. Yeah, it does sound dirty, but just like it's amazing sometimes the ones that fit. And actually going for my Ibanez Blazer there. This is meant to have brass sort of Telecaster looking knobs. And I didn't have brass Telecaster knobs. I ordered them and I just stuck these ones on it, which are sort of, I suppose, kind of Les Pauly ones. And I didn't really mean it, but they're just perfect. It's like, yep, that's the knobs for this guitar. And even when I got the brass ones, I put the brass ones on. It's like, no, these ones, just because they were the ones I had to happen to be lying there. So you never really know what exactly is going to be the right one. Sometimes, you know, if it was like, oh, the whole guitar's black knobs just make it too much, or black knobs are the perfect ones. Oh, you had a shot of an Ibanez Ricky copy out your budget, but much better price wise than the real thing. Oh, definitely. I had one. My I'm trying to think when I had the Rickenbacker. Was it before I got? No, it must have been. It was at my bass journey was I bought a Westone Spectrum off my friend because I joined. I was at the first time I played it was the first time I'd ever been in a band in the studio. The first time I'd ever played bass for more than 2 minutes. I borrowed my pals. I bought it off him for 40 quid. A couple of months later, I hated that bass. I bought the Aria ZZB, which was on my wall until the other day. And then I traded that in against my first Epiphone EBO, so that'd be 98. Had my Epiphone EBO. I bought a second bass being that Ibanez. I think I paid 300 quid for it at Victor Morris, and it was all over the place. The bridge rattled like mad, and I didn't know what it was doing. Maybe it was adjustable or something, or there was something missing, but I had like bits of match stuck in to stop the saddles rattling, and I hated that bass, and I eventually just sold it back, and then I traded the Epiphone EBO and for my Schecter P bass, which is my most expensive bass ever, 430 quid, most expensive guitar, back in CNC Music in 1999, maybe something like that, 1998. Hey, Edible Betty. I feel like yeah, but I just saying there, Matt, I really liked your telly. It's a shame. It's like the snobbery is going to hold that down because it's a made in China, and it's like it was far better than any Squire I've ever played. Well, apart from have played a JV Strat in my Squire Bullet because they are Japanese, but any of the modern ones is better. Really nice guitar. That and just look fantastic. Custom wood pick guards, multiple woods. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, the thing is, there's no point in making it a solid wood, so you can just get like a really nice veneer. Again, I think it just really depends on what guitar it is you put it on. If it's a, like, you don't really know until you lay it on it. You stick it on it, and then suddenly it's pure. Oh, looks amazing. And you look on it and go, you don't really know. Even if it looks amazing and the guitar looks amazing, put the two together doesn't make it look doubly amazing. They might cancel each other out, become too busy. I'm fond of the Formica wood grain guards, like the Dan Armstrong. I know the ones you mean. Yes, you can't see it, but I've got my dad's original hi-fi stereo sitting there, a Pioneer, and it's got that Formica wood, very similar to what's on an Atari 2600, which actually I've got one in the attic. I keep thinking I'd maybe turn it into a guitar, but I've seen someone do it before. But the thing is, the person I saw it done before had like volume and tone knobs on it, whereas I'm looking at it's got levers on it. And maybe use those levers as pickup selectors or something. Just not got there yet. Obviously, I wonder how hollow is the Atari? How much is in it? Is it? But see, I would like to make one like an Atari 26. I've got a wee bit of a tangent here, but an Atari 2600, right, guitar or a bass, but you could still plug it in and use it like to play games on. That'd be pretty cool, rather than just using it as a box. So it still does its original tack. That's more my style, rather than taking something and destroying its original use. It'd have to do its original use. So you could, that'd be pretty cool. You could actually be playing it, and then, you could have the joystick built in at the top. So you could actually play, like just plug it in. Sorry, I'm going a little bit mental. I love the look of the Westone paddock. Yeah, I would like a Westone paddock. They look fantastic. I think, to be honest, I'm a bit too late to get one because Westones are now at the point of being at the price that kind of getting creeping to the point of adding. I mean, as I said, they're my first Westone bass. I bought it for, I think I paid 30 quid for it, and I sold it for 20. So that's kind of tarred Westone a little bit for me because they were that price. And even looking at the ones, there's a Westone there. I don't know what that's worth, the Clipper. I will tell you I paid 30 quid for it, though. It didn't have a pickup or tuners or a bridge, but and it was actually sold as crappy guitar, but it was still, still made 30 quid for his crappy guitar, could only be worth a tenner. It was really good. Plexiglass is a new tone word. Well, you keep seeing it. I mean, if you're talking about them, or maybe not so much plexiglass as epoxy, you see all these people are making guitars out of noodles and pencils and whatever they can find. They're kind of just basically making it out of epoxy. So I don't know. The plexiglass is a funny one. Again, I bet you can't find anyone saying more than one sentence about a plexiglass guitar without saying it weighs a ton. It's such an obvious thing to say. I remember trying one in what used to be called Sound Control in Glasgow. It was an Aria Legend, something like that. Plexiglass Stratocaster. I think it did it have a wooden neck? No, I think it had a plexiglass neck as well. And it was really cheap. It was like 140 quid or something like that. And I went in, this is when it was maybe, I don't know, 18 or something. And it was like, 140 quid, still a lot of money when you're 18, but achievable. You know what I mean? If it was at the end of the month when I get paid from the co-op, just blow it all and not bother buying sweeties or booze for a month. I could do that. And the strings on it, the guys up here, yeah, there you go. He just handed it to me. And there's an amp there. And you're like, it's not how you sell things, but then it only had 5 strings on it and they were all rusty and it wasn't in tune. And you're like, what the fuck? And so I can't judge it because it was just knackered. Actually, the same thing happened with when I bought my Softtech. Maybe it's when they just don't want to sell you. But I went in to try my Softtech, which was brand new. So I'd like to try the Softtech. It's like, cheap out 50 quid. I'm interested. Can I have a wee shot of it? And the guy's like, up here, yeah, I'll just get you a guitar. There you go. Bye. There's a lead. And then he just went back to just sitting reading his book. And you're like, and the guitar he gave me was an Epiphone, the cheapest Epiphone Les Paul. And the strings were nothing like had ever been in tune ever. And you're like, so I was like, kind of, nothing. It's not, you're not even going to, even something that's been tuned ever. And it's like, it's a total waste. Really pure ruins it. Yeah, the West Tone is. The West Tone was, the Paduac was their first one. There's somebody that's commented in one of my videos about they worked in a guitar shop in 1980 when that came out, and it totally destroyed the world, the West Tone Paduac, because they were coming out and they were coming in at like 120 quid or something like that in 1980. And at that time, 120 quid got you the cheapest, crappiest guitar you could buy, like, Les Paul copy or a Strat copy by whoever, plywood, fake humbuckers, bridge made out of tin, all that stuff. And a Les Paul was like 500 or 600 quid, or a Strat was, that kind of price. And then in came the West Tone Paduac, and it was better than the Les Paul and the Strat. And they're sitting there going, how can this be? The world is changing. And there was then, I think, because that did so well, then the Thunder came out 6 months later, and it totally just basically destroyed everything. Now it doesn't seem so clever, but I do love I'd love a Paduac. They look fantastic. It's an amazing shape. It's the same shape as my Concorde bass, which I need to get round to fixing. It's kind of like I suppose it's like a Strat, but it's dead wide. It's kind of wide and then thin. And it's got like a Paduac. I don't know how you spell it, how you pronounce it. Paduuk. Paduacs. Something to do with, is it like an Eskimo canoe or something? Is that a Paduac? Something like that. They look amazing. Also active. They've got a DiMarzio Super, or a copy of a DiMarzio Super Distortion and an active boost, like a 20 decibel active boost in them. Brass hardware, and amazing guitars. Would love one. I don't know if Jeff Beck was an early player with Plexiglass. I know the Dad Armstrong guitar was the first guitar that had slidable pickups, so you could get like if you look at it, it kind of looks funny because it's got a bit where the pickup is, and then a bit it's kind of like that, or is it down here? And that's because you could actually just slide the pickup out and then put in like a P90 in a big plastic looking P90 in it, or a single coil, and move them about. Look fantastic. Hey, it's Mr. Slap and Sniffing. Hey, I'm it's bass all night tonight. I'm on my second bass tonight. Here's my, now, if you missed the start of it, if you've ever seen one of these, it's an Ibanez GA XB. They're pretty good. It's an Ibanez, how can it be? Oh, it's a modern Ibanez, how can it be bad? But really impressed with that. But to be honest, I'm more impressed with this one because I didn't expect it to be good. It was at the price level where you just go, oh, if it plays at all, it's worth it. So this is an Ashton, even though you can't really read the logo. It's like they put the logo on and then decided to paint it blue. I suppose it's just like a P base. It's actually got a built-in tuner on the top. If I turned it on, it's on. So you can tune this without having to. But again, I don't want to ruin the video I'm going to do with this. This one might be getting stuff done to it. Move in. It was you, Malcolm. Who was you? What were you saying, Jez? Oh, you've got 2 Padwacks, don't you? I seem to remember you saying that before. I don't know what it was. It was you, unless I assume you're talking about the Padwack. Oh, it was you that used to work in the shop? Yes, that would make sense. Cheers for the bucky, by the way. I don't know if I said that earlier on. Plexiglass destroys the tone wood narrative. Not practical. Apparently, plexiglass is really, I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to get too much into the tone wood debate there. It's like pure tone wood. It's like one of those things I'm not committing to anything. Well, I've got bucky, so I've got an excuse to not be committed to anything. I don't know. Could be. It's still nice. Still, if I got a guitar that was made of, amazing looking swamp ash, you're still going to go, oh, look, it's made of amazing looking swamp ash. I keep always talk about the Washburn there that's got the inch thick solid rosewood cap. That's more a line of, look, solid rosewood cap. Not what's the tonal benefits? No, look at it. Look how expensive that must be to make, and how you can't. Basically, nobody would make that guitar these days because I don't think you could get rosewood that looks like that in bits that size, unless you're paying £10,000 or something. So it doesn't exist anymore. But that's more like a sort of doesn't really have any. I don't know if it's got a tonal value or not. Try to catch up. Oh, hey, AK188. I'm kind of at the bottom of the thing now. Yes, I have a tone wood agnostic. I think I almost started saying that, and then you're a wood lover. It doesn't sound right, no. It's like if this was a carry-on film, that would be a punchline to something. Better, yeah. Well, or Edible Betty. That's like maybe not so much a carry-on film. That's more into your So I Married what's it called? Confessions of a Window Cleaner, which is kind of like a more extreme one, but yeah. Speaking tone was early 60s strap made of alder, right? Hey Burnsy. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I can understand that some wood looks amazing. It's like you look at your really fancy PRS. I don't know if I don't like PRSs as an example, but sometimes you get one, look at the wood in this, and it really is. It's a beautiful thing. Whether it makes a difference to tone wood, I don't know. I mean, I think Steve Vai chose basswood or basswood for his Gem series because it's the best and easiest to work and most consistent wood. The problem is I've got a couple of basswood guitars. Not lying about just now. I'm trying to think. My Ibanez Destroyer's made of basswood and it's been stripped, and the wood is just kind of. It's got sod all grain on it. It's a sort of horrible MDF type color. It's not pretty, but that's not the point. Apparently, it's really easy to work with, and it's got the best sound, and it's the most consistent, and it's like the density is the most consistent, and all these things. So I don't know. Most cheap Asian guitars are alder. Are they? I don't know. I suppose you get this. Is it NATO and what are the other ones that I'm thinking of? One Agathis, which are ones you don't really know what they are, and it's like I don't know. And does it really make any difference? I mean, you get your plywood guitars. I've had a fair few plywood guitars, and they sound fine. I mean, they sound great because it's not B&Q plywood. It's like just get air gaps and stuff in it. You know, it's like alder from the great northwest of the USA, possibly. I know there was definitely the original Telecasters that Fender made were made of pine because that was his choice for wood. And then after the first run, they started making them out of swamp ash because swamp ash grows down the road from California, whatever. You can just get it from down the road instead of having to get it from Canada or something. So it's cheaper. So that's why the swamp ash. And swamp ash, that's what you want. You know, why is that Strat $3,000? It's swamp ash. Whereas actually at the time it's because it was cheaper than pine. Also, the first tellies were all painted black because pines get knots in it. Apparently, I don't know. There's so much stuff you read. You've got to try and work out take it all with a grain of salt. Especially everything I say on this channel, I was like, yeah, I might be right. I'm not. If you've got proof against it, I'm totally listening to that. I'm not going to defend my corner, whatever, against odds. It's like, yeah, I will change my thing whenever it goes. Pine telly sought after, totally. Well, got the guitar that I'm actually going to play a gig with next week. Took it in with the band and they loved it, even though it's microphonic. There you go. That's just B&Q joist pine. 2 bits stuck together. You can see the join there. Bang, bang. And it's the ringiest, most fantastic. Sounds like an acoustic. It's so good. But made of shite, I suppose you would put it. Something that it's probably not economical to make a guitar out of, because even if you get the wood free, it's never going to be worth more than £100 no matter what you do. Hey Buster, someone was asking about you earlier on and calling you a dick. Not the win. I think it was Podjack. Finally, having problems with the Vox volume control. Three new pots all broken. Well, I did a guitar and I had a bitch of a time with it. I'm allowed to swear on this? I'll have it anyway. I did a guitar with it was my pal Alan, who's in Anthrax. If you want to go and see, they've got a couple of gigs coming up here in Glasgow and you like Anthrax, go and see Anthrax. And it was a Jackson Flying V, and he wanted me to put an EMG pickup in it and a blank one because he only had one EMG, so it's just a bridge pickup. And then a special volume control. You know, it's not like a 500k, it was a 25k, but it was a push-pull pot. I've now started doing that. It's like whenever I say tremolo bar, I have to do that as well. So has it got a tremolo bar? I can't just say, have you got a tremolo bar? Or you got a push-pull pot? Yeah, and it was an absolute pig, and I was pure shouting at it, and I know the guy quite well, so I'm sure he was taking it in good humour. Just every hour, just sending him abuse. Bastard guitar, hate you. It was like pure. You could obviously everyone get more and more aggressive until eventually I gave it. And what it was the volume, the push pull volume pot. The actual volume pot of it didn't work at all. It was just registering a solid, like it's as if the 3 tabs were all connected. So basically, as soon as you plugged anything into it, it just earthed it, so it just went completely silent. So that was what was wrong with it, and it took me ages to work it out. So now I know. But if you had 3 in a row, that sounds terrible. I mean, when you say volume pot's broke, I'd imagine that's what you mean. I think what I'm going to do, Pontiac, cheers, spike the likes. 18 people watching, 8 likes. Likes don't cost any money. Do it. What does cost money is super chats if you want to give me some of that. Ideally, if 7 of you could chip in £1 and get me next week's bottle of Bucky, that would be fantastic. Not like asking for these things. But yeah, so now it's like you just learn. I think what I'm maybe going to do now is that you just start it from the source. So if you wire up a guitar and it doesn't work, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disconnect everything and stick the pickup. Oh no, see, the pickup was given a reading. So I had kind of already done that. And just eliminate bits to work out what it is. Because when the pot was brand new, the one I put in, it's just sometimes they're just duff. I suppose if you're buying them cheap, I've got that sometimes. You see the wee micro switches that I always use for coil splitting and all that. Maybe one in every bag of 10 either doesn't work at all or is a bit shit. You know, it's like you kind of click it and it doesn't have like quite a nice click, but because they're so cheap, you know, it's like, but you're buying a bag of 10 for China for like, to be honest, I think it's like £4 or something for like 10 on-off switches, and it's like one of them goose, that's fine. Whereas you can buy exactly one of them from the from Britain somewhere so I can get it soon for like £2 or £3. And I was like, well, I can buy 10 and wait a month, assuming you get it. Asian stealing American roads. Oh, don't even get on with what we've got a thing called Brexit, which you don't have. That's just worse than that. But I'm not talking about politics. I don't talk about football. I don't talk about religion. Hail the fox god. But apart from that, yeah, it does. I mean, I have to say, Buster, to be honest, the reason I didn't buy that one, apart from the fact it was dead similar to the one I've already got, the headstock on a Vox, is it works on Brian Jones's Vox. See the teardrop shaped one? You got a guitar, it's got like a teardrop shaped head. That kind of works, but see on any other shape of thing, you just look at it and go, it's not. I don't actually, see, to be fair, I don't mind that headstock. I know it's a sort of like a P bass, but that headstock's all right. It's like the headstocks for me don't have to be the correct one for the bass or the guitar. They don't have to be the right one. You know, like a Telecaster doesn't have to have a Telecaster headstock, but it has to have one that looks right, whatever it is. Hey, that Scottish dude. AXX Paps, all coming in. We're getting folk coming back from the pub. Cheers, Jez. That's next week. Bucky almost sorted. You're awesome, and your Telecaster looks fantastic. I don't know. Did you send me a video? You sent me a video on Facebook, not YouTube. I'll be playing it. You should maybe see if you should make up a wee, like that wee jam you did. See if you could put. I don't know how to do it. I'm just assuming you're better in the computer. I mean, see if you did like maybe the first 30 seconds of you playing like the video, but leave the audio going, and then put a slideshow up of you making that telly, because that telly looked flipping amazing. I didn't get it when you first sent me. I was like, it looks really good. It wasn't until I had it on I was on my phone when I put it onto the big screen. It just looks absolutely stunning. You dyed it red, and it was like pure. It lost some of the. I mean, maybe in person it looks different. It looked absolutely stunning before it got painted, and then you painted it. It seemed to have lost some of its the strikingness. I'm sure if you were there though, you would see it's like big. Is it burrs? And it big, not cracks. It's not the word I'm looking for. You know, like big fancy bits of woody grainy shit going on. It looked amazing, fantastic. Talking headstocks, so many, so bad. Yeah, totally. Oh, I don't know. I'm getting caught up a wee bit. Macula. So is that like 2 times that you're? I don't know what Macu or macula is. Oh, you listen to Switched On Back, X-Paps. How good is Switched On Back? It's just nuts. The only thing that always put me off it was the fact it's got Air and a G string on it, which is the song you go, oh, I've heard that, so that's the first one you put on. And it's the only song on it that isn't pure. Some of that first one is just amazing. Mac Mull is the first headstock. Yeah, X-Paps, I mean, Switched On Back is amazing. The second one, Switched On Back 2 isn't the one after Switched On Back. Switched On Back, the well-tempered clavier synthesizer, the well-tempered synthesizer, the Clockwork Orange soundtrack, I can't remember, and then the Switched On Back 2 is like about 4 or 5 albums in, so it's quite a difference. But it's and the thing is, it gets better and better. I used to listen to it. I was working in Pitlochry at the time, which is an hour and a half's drive up north, and I used to listen to that at full bung. You know, it'd be like AC/DC was my main car thing, and Alice Cooper, Dirty Diamonds was the album that was out at the time. It's amazing as well. But Switched On Back, going through the glens, you know, with the forests and stuff like that, just pure ding, 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 and it's pure super stereo as well. Switched On Back's amazing, but why is it not on YouTube? Why can you not hear any of it? The only thing you can find that's anything remotely like it is there's a guy who's done a couple of videos on the Arturia Mini Brute, which is an analog synthesizer I've got, where he's kind of done back on that, and it's a sort of harkened towards. It's a similar sort of thing, but it's not Switched On Back. It's amazing. Or if you watch Clockwork Orange, now, did I actually hear Clockwork Orange first? I think I watched Clockwork Orange first, and the bit where it's like playing the Beethoven and stuff, the bit where he's lying on the ground, and the guy whose wife he raped and killed. He's got the speakers pointing down. It's a pure amazing. Amazing. I'm talking so much shit. I don't know, Macul. Is Macul worse than Macmul? I don't know what Macmul is either. One of the worst ones is it James Taylor? He's got a bad shaped headstock that says James Taylor, James Taylor, James Taylor, James Taylor, James Taylor, James Taylor, or James Taylor, whatever it is. It's up here. I don't know. But again, it depends on the shape of the. It's not just the headstock; it's the shape of the guitar that goes with the headstock. So I mean, I struggle with I said this when I was doing my guitar safari the other day. Like a Telecaster with a Stratocaster headstock. No, but I don't know why. I don't know why. The headstock I always liked. I don't have one. There's a Hondo one called an Eagle's Beak. I think that's a really nice headstock. Which they put on their Strats and they put it on other things, and it looks great. Look at the headstocks now. I mean this one. I'm not pure in love with it, but it's fine. I like the one. This one here. I think I like. That kind of suits that bass really well, doesn't it? See, it's got a wee notch in the middle as well. So that it's kind of interesting. You get your straight string pull, and it suits the sort of the symmetricalness of the body. I think that's a nice, well-designed headstock. Well done, Ibanez. I like it. This one. Oh. This one's not bad for the guitar. You know, it's like the guitar's like a spaceship. It's got the see the way this bit's grey. But see if you took that grey bit out, it's getting towards the Yamaha Samurai shape. That's kind of like the original, the early Yamahas have got the Samurai shape. It's a bit longer, but it doesn't have this bit here on it. So I think that's what they've done. The Japanese ones used to make them look like swords. So like that one, if you imagine the grey bit's not there, it's like the tip of like a katana or something like that. And then you get your Ibanez Blazer, which has the headstock like I don't know what it's called, but it's like a pike that's got a big metal blade like this on the top of it. That's why that's that shape. That one's one I'm not sure about. It kind of ruins it for me in some ways, but because it's kind of because I'm quite proud of the fact it's an Ibanez Blazer, it kind of makes me like it a bit. But that's kind of so you know what it is. Other headstock, the Washburn Wing. I think it suits. You don't quite get the straight string pull, but it's it's symmetrical and it kind of fits. But the guitar is a little bit different. Yeah. Oh. Gold Wonder's just got a Strat headstock. The Washburn one is a wee bit too much of a reach to get to. This one's the one that people call the Bart Simpson. Which is like, because I mean, as soon as someone says, "Oh, has it got the Bart Simpson headstock?" You look at it and go, "I've never heard." Oh yeah, it totally does. That's Bart Simpson's head in it. If that was yellow, Bart Simpson headstock. I'll need to look up Mac Mull though. I don't think I've ever even heard of them. Oh, I forgot to say, anyone else been watching the volcano? I was round at my pal's house last night, and I was ready to go home about 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. Stick on the volcano, and I don't know if I've done. No, the sound's down. But it's just like if you look up the live in was it I can't remember what the island's called. There's a volcano that's going just now. That's live. We were sitting watching this, and the sound is just, but it's pure amazing. It's like totally, you can tell it's pure nature. It doesn't sound like any sort of synthesizer thing. Just try sticking it on. It sounds nuts. And we started watching, and then we ended up watching a wee bit where it was cutting down and watching. It was a bit where it pure exploded. And we're totally getting mad into this thing. And it was like a bit where he went to make another cup of tea. And it was like pure, it got quiet, and then it started pure exploding. It's like pure, like, get back, Scott! Kicking back to us, like, bro, what's going on? It's like, look, whoa! And it was just, and basically I left at 2:30 in the morning. At one point, I think it was just before midnight, the sun came down. They was just coming down to, like, I think to getting a cup of tea. He's waiting for the kettle to boil or something like that. So he came in and sat in the lounge with us and watching it. So up here, you're watching the volcano. Like, up here, I look at this one. You're listening to it though. And he's like, all right. And then, like, after the time the kettle boil came back with his cup of tea, and he was there to 2 in the morning as well. We're just going, oh, see that bit in the left? Is it going to go? Best bit of TV ever. It's like, but it's totally live. It's not as impressive just now as it was last night. I don't think. Just for flames. Yeah. By the side, sorry, I'm getting a wee bit into it. I don't know art. El Degas. Yeah. The smaller headstock and Scots Blazer, yes, I agree. So there's actually another Blazer video coming next week. The reason I didn't, well, to be honest, I forgot to take my camera with me, so we had a wee bit of a jam, which I'm probably going to take wee snippets of and stick them into videos because I had the GoPro but not the camera from my laptop. We're going to do because he's got another. After he decided, he told one of his pals, I think it was his cousin actually, or his brother. Was like, yeah, I bought this Ibanez Blazer, and he's like, oh, I've got a Roadstar in the attic you can have. It's not been touched in 20 years, but he'd already bought the Blazer, so he got like a Roadstar, and it's the year after that one, and it's a Roadstar. That's a Blazer. It's a Roadstar. It's basically, I was going to say it's the same neck. It's not, because it's got 22 frets, but it's very similar, and it's going to be fun because we've got that one being the first one in the 1982. We've now got a 1983. I've got my Lena, which is an RG 530, which is a Roadstar 2 from 1986. And then he's got the 1995 one. So we're going to do that. And we've both been looking up shit. So we'll be able to talk about how it comes through. Don't want to ruin it just now, but that should be fun. I'm going to try and do that this week. Washburn and Blood. The thing about the Washburn is I think that's the prettiest guitar ever made. Argue, it's fine. But for me, that's the prettiest guitar ever made. It took me a good year to learn how to play it because it's really, really unforgiving. If you're a beginner, you're going to die with that thing. When you play well, it rewards you and it sounds like the greatest thing ever. When you make a mistake, it makes that mistake louder. So it's like pure da 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 da. Any slight buzz in it pure kills it. But if you can do it, if you're man enough to take it on, it's the best sounding guitar in the world. It's also really badly balanced. It's really heavy. You can't play it sitting down. But these are just things that go on. Oh. The extraction. I didn't watch the extraction of the Chilean miners. The problem with that is, though, there's a possibility of death and stuff. So you're kind of, there's a wee bit of a, I hope they find him alive, I suppose. But people could die. Whereas with that one, although I know there are houses and stuff downstream, and I suppose there could be a tidal wave going to. You might be getting a tsunami if you're on the east coast of America. I never saw that. But you're sitting there watching it, and you really are. Come on, volcano! And we're working. It's totally ridiculous, especially if there's a couple of you. You just sit and then you start talking about it, and you go, "Oh, hold on, I've been talking some absolute shit. They're talking about how that's going to come in," and then it's like Scott's up here. Oh no, but that bit they're beside it, totally getting you up here. All right, haha, we're into this. And as I said, his son was up here after about 2 minutes. Was up here. Oh, look at that! And there's like there's big bits where it's like you can see it like a big bits the size of a house, big boulders rolling down, made of molten magma. Amazing. BC Rich Harpoon headstock, yes. I think it fits very much into is it a practical type of headstock? No, it isn't. Because ideally you want the strings to be straight, go over the nut. This one's not too bad. You want it to be perfectly straight. That was one of Fender's inventions with the Telecaster. All the strings go straight over the nut. So instead of, obviously that's where you get friction. Shit goes wrong when you bend a string up the way. You know what I mean? It pulls the string through the nut. And then you want it to slide back through the nut as it expands rather than get stuck. Whereas if you've got like a splay like this, which you get quite a lot, Get Your Gibson famously are pretty bad for it. Actually, I got round it with a thing called a string butler, which I sort of cheated on in this. I had a problem with the tuning strings in this. I put in that's just the ball end of a bass string with a screw through the middle of it. I just happened to work in this diamond thing. So as you can see, these strings go around a roller and then come into the nut straight. And this thing does not go out of tune. Especially with it's the G string that goes most, because that's the one that if you're giving it mad bends on. So that, but every time you slide it, it's pulling it through the nut. And because it's going through the nut and going at an angle like that, it's not slipping back down again. So when I bend this one up, it pulls it through the nut and then you let go of it and it slips it back through again. Beautiful. So you can do that if you can be bothered drilling holes in your guitar. But I've actually got a BC Rich Harpoon headstock. I believe it's called the droopy one, which it's kind of like but pure points down the way. And I used it in a video. I've used it a couple of times. See when I'm pointing at things, because I've not found the guitar, and it's one of those necks that it's like I've got a Charvel one as well. Yes, I've had plenty of guitars I could put it on, but I want that neck on one of my guitars, so I'm not putting it on a bucky caster on one that I'm going to sell. It's going on a guitar for me, and the same with the BC Rich one. It's going on a guitar for me. I've just not yet found the guitar it is, but I've used it before. Definitely would have needed a pointy stick. I've still got the neck sitting about somewhere. Brilliant. Oh. Next time to go to UK, Scotland, I'll bring my metallic brass trim 550. You can review it. Awesome. I have done a review of a 550 though, but I mean the blue one is better than the red one. I don't know. It's probably a really expensive thing. The thing I was talking about with Scott as well. See the thing about the Blazer series, which is that, because that is the 550 is the top of the range one. The top of the range one's not really that much more expensive. It's the same price as the bottom of the range one now, because it's just an Ibanez Blazer. Oh, what one is it? It's an Ibanez Blazer. And it's like, all right, it's not until you get into it, you start going, I've got the same pickups as you, which are, according to the manual, this is going to be a big video with me and Scott do. It's like, I'm going to maybe do a picture-in-picture thing going through the Ibanez manual, because they didn't do the same thing 2 years in a row for the 80s. Like the Blazers from 1981 don't look like that one. Even and then in 1982, they're all different. And then the following year, there's maybe one model that keeps going, but all the other ones change. And then so you can nail down which Ibanez Roadstar you've got, even if you don't have serial numbers, because they pretty much only made every one for a year. But that was amazing. Actually, someone else on the Facebook page, I don't think they were in the live stream, they bought the Ibanez Blazer from the Bitch shop, which is the one I had, which is the one the same as yours, the 550. And they were like, oh, it was amazing. I totally tried to buy it. Unfortunately, Tony told me what he paid for it before, when it was pure manky when I got it, and he said, oh, I got the boy in the shop to pure clean it up. And it's like, really? You've got him to clean this up? It looks fucking minging. So I cleaned it up more. So I'd imagine it must have had like basically just shite, like literally all over it. Sorry if you're watching and I'm ruining your guitar. It must have been pretty bad, but I mean it was amazing, and the coil split on it was just stunning. Anyways, have you ever played a Beatle violin bass? I've had a shot of one once. One time I was in a band in Paisley, and I had my Schecter P bass, and I never changed the strings or anything, and I snapped the low E when we were having a jam, and I was up here, all right, I'll to play without it. And Simon, the guy that lovely guy, he runs Blue Cat Studios in Paisley, assuming it's still there. Lovely guy. I left the band because the band wasn't me at all. It was a real shame, because I really, really liked the guy. I loved the New Zealand, was it Craig his name was? The guitarist as well. I kind of fell out with the drummer a wee bit, sort of, but not much. He was still all right. But just the music wasn't really my thing. It wasn't in any way heavy metal. It was more maybe the jam, but the Beatles, that kind of, I don't know what you would call that. But he had a Beatle bass, and I had it out, and it was like, we're trying to play it. It was like, this is totally unplayable shit. And then I tried to play them, and it was like pure boom. Makes sense. I understand this. Same as if you've got like an EBO and you're trying to play something, or an EB3, you're trying to play something on it. It sounds terrible. This doesn't sound anything like Iron Maiden. Try playing free on it. And it's like, and then you can play anything on it, but once you realize it, once you play the right thing on it, you just got a total lead in. Got some ideas for the RG120 that border on sacrilege. I don't know if I know what the RG120 is. Is that quite an early one? You said you had a Roadster guitar. Is that what you're talking about? So if it's an RG and it's a Roadster, it's from 1986. They made quite a lot of them. I think what happened with again, I don't want to talk too much of this because I don't want to ruin the video I'm going to do with Scott. Yeah, the Ibanez are mad. I think they had a bit. I think they got much more. They were always more popular than they were at the time that you bought them. So I think if you bought like an Ibanez Blazer or Roadstar, 2 years later, that was a pure belter and everyone loved it. Whereas they changed it every year. So it became a bit more. They got spikier, and also after that's we're saying their Joachim's one, the 550 was the best one they did. It was the total top of the range, and that would be a 1982. I think they still made that model in 1983, but in 1984, suddenly there's an RS 1000, and it's like carved top, through neck, a much more expensive guitar. I'm not sure if they still made that. Yeah, you want to not, Mr. White, as you said, when you said it's an RG, it's like, because I'm dead clever and I know that they were all RS models up until 1986 when it became the RG. So you have, like what I always claim on mine, the first RG guitars, which actually stands for Roadster guitar. But obviously now you go into anywhere or anything from 1987 onwards, an RG is the same shape as the Ibanez Gem. Still going. I mean, what a design classic, really. It's still going. You can still, they've never been out of print. You've always been able to buy an Ibanez RG shape for whatever the cheapest guitar, 120 quid for the cheapest guitar, or like maybe a hardtail or a Strat trim. You've always had the 300 series, which is kind of like 300 and something pounds. So you're getting there. And they've always had like the 550, which kind of cuts in about 500-600 quid. That's where mine's sitting. My RG 530 sits, and then you get up to your thousands and that, which are premium and all that, but still the same shape. Whereas the Rhodes, honestly I don't know what an RG 120 looks like. It could be anything. I had an amazing Hondo Formula One, which was the same shape as the most expensive Ibanez, the RS 1000 or whatever it was, or 1500. The difference being Ibanez never made a hardtail one, so the one I had was a Hondo, which looked almost identical to the Ibanez, different headstock, but it was they'd drawn around it, totally copied it, carved top, binding, like a sort of flamed mapley Les Pauly type top on it. But mine had a Scholler bridge fixed, whereas the Ibanez ones always had some sort of tremolo. But I need to have a look through them. I think, to be honest, me and Scott, when we do the Blazer, the video, I'm just going to do a picture-in-picture thing and just run through the catalogues of the Blazer, because it's only like, what, you're talking 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86. There's only 6 pages. That's only going to take 2 hours or something. Like, the thing that's so annoying about doing the videos with Scott is that he just keeps talking, and so do I. And it's like every time it was up here, I was like, that was great. Right, I'll end it now. Catch you later, YouTube. Bang, and then the two of us like, I should really just keep it running forever. We should just do it live. Actually, fuck it. Just do it live. Yeah. Got to do a check and got to throw up a video. I want to see. We'll include it. We'll maybe put a wee bit of it. If you could do a wee bit for Mr. White, where you actually like talking to the camera sort of thing and going, hey, Malcolm and Scott, here's my Ibanez what'd you say? It was an RG 120. There's an app here. This has a 5-way switch. There we go. And then maybe play a wee bit on it. I'll cut that into the video and we'll watch it. And I'll be up here. That'd be fucking awesome. Get a bit of a community thing. Obviously, anyone else wants to do anything like that. If anyone else has got an Ibanez Roadster or something, send me a wee video and try and keep it to like. It doesn't have to be like a 30-second video, but that'd be a really good thing, or a minute or something like that. But have a bit at the start where you just kind of say what it is. Here we go. Here's the headstock. It's got these tuners. It's a one-piece neck. That's sounding good. The ideas are flowing. Like the Bucky Malcolm, the Bucky Malco, the Bucky combo. 15 folk. Spike the likes. Assuming if you're not there, if you could give me a like anyway, that'd be awesome. I was always a wee bit. I don't really used to like anything. I mean, I realised it's like, because you think, oh, I've got my liked videos, which is kind of like ones that you put on that you really like, and it's like, also I can go back to it. But I mean, that's gone now anyway. Just hit it. It's like you can do anything. Actually, I want to give a shout out to another YouTube channel who I've been watching like mad the last couple of days. It was Roxy's guitar channel, and I have watched a few of his videos. But as I say, I don't know why I never really clicked on the sub thing. He is brilliant. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's like me, but he's kind of similar sort of thing. Similar sort of attitude. I think he fixes up guitars as well. He's actually really funny as well. He did a brilliant thing the other night when I was watching. And he was talking. He was answering questions, I think. And someone was like, yeah. And as I keep getting this question, it's like, I'm sorry, ladies. I'm happily married for 20 years. It's like, so it's going to have to be your place, not mine. It's like, that is that sort of funny. So I find it really good. So if you don't know Roxy's guitar channel, ROXY, check him out. He's sitting at like 950 subs or something like that. He gets an awful lot more views for his videos than mine, but he doesn't have the same amount of subs. See if you can, if everyone on can, after this, I'll put a link in it, could sub to him, and then I suppose if you don't like him, you can always ignore it, but sub to him anyways. If you see, once you get to 1,000, that's when you can get monetized, and suddenly the views start going up like mad, because people who are not specifically typing exactly what your title is get you as well. I mean, I noticed that when I got to 1,000, I was like, suddenly they're coming. It stops telling you. I was used to be for years. I was sitting there going, oh, another. I would get like a ping, somebody like your channel. Yes, that's like I've had 3 people like me this week. It's great. It feels brilliant, but and it's like now it's brilliant. So check him out, Roxy. Lovely guy. Nothing to do with him. The fact that Blacktooth Fox actually reminded me. He said something about I should watch. Roxy. I know him. He's been on this chat one time before. Definitely, I remember seeing him because he's the guy when I typed in when I got the Yamaha RGXA2, that white one I just showed you. His was the first video that came up, and he was talking about it. And by that point, I was like, yeah, I'm totally getting that. And then I kind of forgot about it. I've seen a few videos now and again. And there's one point where he was talking about his top 10 YouTube channels. There's a pair I got mentioned. And there's like all the other ones are, your people who are professional and get money for it. There's a few channels I don't like you mentioned, but I mean, I'm not really, I don't know, different way of going. Yeah, Roxy is good. Oh, yeah. I think it's if you kind of if you like this, you like him. Definitely. He's more concise, less of a rambler than me. I think he seems to have lots of good ideas, and it's like the video I watched is like he seems more of a plan. It's up here. Yes, I'm going to do a video now, but what if I could only have one guitar? What would it be? And it's up here. That's a fucking good idea for a video. That's getting stolen. I'm doing it. If I could only have one guitar, what would it be? It's up here. Yeah, good one. If you could only have one guitar, what would it be? He went for, I think him actually, Blacktooth Fox, who's I think might be watching, bastard that he is I'm just doing that because I know he can't. I know he's sitting there shouting at the screen, going fucking Kindle. Let me comment. What was he saying? Roxy went for the same thing. It was like pure Stratocaster being the most versatile, and then having the HSS one, so you've got the humbucker on the bridge. And it's like, would that be my choice? And it's like, well, I think I just want to be different anyway. So just because both Blacktooth Fox and Roxy chose an HSS Stratocaster, that's not what I'm going to choose. Just because that's partly the reason I don't like Les Pauls, because everybody else likes Les Pauls. So I don't. I'm not like everybody else just for the sake of it, even though I do like them. Sort of. The thing I don't like about Les Pauls is the price. Let's be honest. So I actually played this bass. So anyway, I've got a plan for this. This is, I've bought a special switch. I've worked out how to do it. So this has the output jack on the bottom, right? I'm putting another output jack on the top, and I've worked out a switch that will just basically, you can use either of the two outputs, depending on whether you're standing up, so you want it there, that's fine. Or if you're sitting down in the settee, sometimes it's annoying having it there. So you can just use either output jack socket the same. But if you hit the switch, you get the stereo thing. So it'll route, the top output jack to these two strings and the bottom one to these two. I've not yet worked a way of working out how to do it in stereo, but see when you hear it in real stereo when you're, so anything you play on this string comes out of that speaker, and anything on the top two strings go out that one, and you start going. Also, you means you can put effects through just the one side. I think it'll be a seller. Yeah, so apart from that, I'm thinking, to be honest, just for the money thing, I think I would get more. It'd be worth more money if I made it an iron brew base, and what that would involve is putting an orange scratch plate on it, putting white covers on the pickup, and then sticking an iron brew label in the headstock. So I think I have to do that. The scratch plate thing is a weird thing because I don't want to ruin it. I'm quite happy with it. Well, these pickups are too low and they're sitting. They kind of seem almost spongy, but I think it's because they're sitting on bad sponge. And I maybe put some sort of scratch plate on it. Ravensby, the best I bought was a Boss ME5, the first one ever made. 6 analog sounds. Maybe I would understand that. I don't know. I mean, Black just did a video on like affectionates. He actually mentioned me a couple of times going, Marco doesn't like. He was quite offensive, but if you're withdrew it anyway because we're pals anyway. So it's like you can call your best pal a dick if you want. And at the end he's like, I totally get it. It's like the idea. I'm quite happy just with a wee tube amp. But it doesn't have to be a tube amp. A wee nice sounding amp with one sound on it, and that's kind of me. I don't really want the chorus not because the more you go into this, the more it branches out, and you just end up with so many options really, really quickly. Whereas kind of having like something like the Shocking Bird there. When I went into the studio, I actually put a video up of me playing this guitar through the wee PV that's on the floor there, and it's basically got a gain, a tone, and a treble. A gain, a tone, and a volume, and this just has one pickup and a volume. And it's like, there you go. You can't adjust anything. Deal with it. And I found that totally liberating and amazing because there was no options to sit there and try to work it out. And as soon as you start putting lots of options in, suddenly I'm like, oh no, hold on. If I put a bit more chorus on, the delay doesn't work. So I kind of don't. But I mean, each to their own. None of it's wrong. Yeah, sorry, by Buster, you're still in. Yes, up to Buster as well. I watched your video earlier on. The one we were doing about the short scale basses, and you liked the Jaguar better than the Ibanez, and it's like I've never played either of them, but I was very surprised at that. I was very much expecting the Ibanez to be better, so I kind of want to come around to your house and try the both of them, just so I can go, you're wrong, but not wrong because you can't be wrong. There's no such thing as wrong, it's like, but I think the Ibanez should be on paper, and I think it should be, but maybe it isn't. I need to have a shot of it. But then again, that doesn't fit in if you like. Say you're mad into thin neck guitars, and maybe the Ibanez is a thick neck or something like that. Whereas it's a bizarre thing. Yeah. So next question is, what did I do with this? This is the Golden Wonder. I bought Golden Wonder crisps. So I've got the Golden Wonder logo that's going on the headstock somewhere. Seeing as it's gold. It was going to be a bucky caster when I bought it, but the neck on it was what make is it again? It's a Rockstar guitars, but the neck is, it's not super twisted. Yeah, you can see it there. I mean, that's like good for slide guitar. You know what I mean? I can't sell it. I can't give away. I can't release a guitar that looks like that. It's not good enough. So I put another neck on it. Actually, hey Cameron, here's the Stratocaster neck you gave me about 6 months ago, and I said I've no idea what I'll do with it. It went on this. It didn't fit easily. I had to actually physically saw the back of this on to get it down with a good action. I reshaped it to be a bit more Stratocaster-y. It's got a Floyd Rose. As you can see, it doesn't have the top bit. This was me just sticking it together to make sure the concept was going to work. This is a temporary fill. I'm not happy with the shape of the scratch plate here. It doesn't really, I'm going to have to reshape it to fit the side of the body a little bit better. But the guitar is working. That's me looking for a pick. And I'm playing through a bass amp, which never sounds good when you're playing the guitar. Yeah, in the middle position, it sounds really good, this guitar. listen, I don't know. Well, maybe not, actually. So, what would you do to this? It's gold. I'm leaving it gold because it's the Golden Wonder, who I think I'm not going to credit it to him, apart from right now. I think Blacktooth Fox called it the Golden Wonder, and he can't comment now, so he's a dick. And he said, I like the Golden Wonder, and it was like up here, and it's like obviously Golden Wonder crisps. That gives me a logo for the headstock. But what? Like, so basically, got the volume, right, is really here. It's really here. So it's like, if you're doing like swells and stuff, that's pure amazingly close. I'm not really sure whether that's a good thing being there. I mean, like a Strat volume control is probably, you know, maybe a bit here or something. That's really in the way. I get used to it after 2 seconds because I'm so used to playing guitars that might put people off. So I've got 2 humbuckers. I was thinking a rotary switch here would be pretty cool, eh? And I was also thinking of putting a middle pickup in, I was thinking a black Strat pickup, possibly at an angle, just to make it look cool. And then a rotary pickup, which in position 1 did nothing. Position 2 added it in series to the bridge pickup. Position 3 added it in series to the neck pickup. And position 4, it put it out of phase or something like that, because that would give you quite a lot of sounds, and it would give you more Jaguar-y, jazz mastery sounds than it could do just now, you know, just being HSH. And then I was obviously thinking as well about having like maybe a coil splitter thing in it. I'd like to put a coil splitter in it, but I was really surprised that this guitar, for some reason, the middle position really has that more than any other guitar I can really think of. It sounds, even if it's on clean, it sounds like single coils. How can that be? I know I'm the world's best pickup expert, but it really does. It's got that this is single coils sound going on, but it's not. It's 2 humbuckers, and there's no fancy wiring in it. It's just what it is. Whereas, you know, you can hear when you go into either, that's not a single coil. You can totally hear that, and same with the bridge. Not a single coil. It's in the middle. There's some sort of thing going on here with distances between the pickups. Maybe the relative power of the 2 pickups. Maybe it's one of them much louder. I don't know. There's some voodoo going on there which gives you a pure amazing sound in the middle, which, to be honest, kind of almost makes me think, why put the coil split in it when you get, that's very much a Strat position 4 in it. Get a Strat pickup in the middle and underneath at the end. Yeah, it kind of works in there. Yeah. Hey Mark, have you ever tried to set up a Mustang tremolo? Is the Mustang tremolo the one that kind of looks like it's got it kind of looks like a Tune-o-matic tailpiece in the body somewhere? I think my pal had or still has the Kurt Cobain one, which I think is a Mustang tremolo in it. The answer is I can't remember. I don't know. I think the Mustang tremolo might be, it kind of depends what it is you think a tremolo should do. So a bit the first time I ever played a Bigsby, I mean, for me, a tremolo was either a Floyd Rose or a Stratty one, which are both kind of the same, but, you know, you're kind of, I mean, I don't have the clamps on yet. I need to cut the nut out to take the clamps. That's what you expect, but in reality, something like a Bixby or a Mustang one, at full whack, it does that sort of thing. Like here's me going mental on a Bixby. That's me absolutely wellowing it, wellying it. That's kind of all it does. It doesn't. Even a Strat goes to there, and obviously a Floyd Rose goes to nothing. And then if you kind of get the THX remastered thing going on. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Obviously, this guitar had a reasonably well cut nut, been able to go from to sort of acceptably drunk in tune. But if you're looking to buy, to be honest, it's like I kind of decided when I got this. It's like it didn't really matter how good it was. I'm not really an offset guy. You know what I mean? Like I don't know who Sonic Youth are. I don't like grunge really. This is not really my thing. It's quite unusual having a guitar this shape. Actually, I saw one yesterday, and it wasn't a Jazzmaster and it wasn't a Jaguar, but I think it was a Fender or a Squier, and it's what this is a copy of. There's a something else. Anyone know what that was? There's a something else which is quite similar to the body shape. It's got this kind of pointy bit on it. So this isn't like a Jazzmaster that they've made a mistake with. There is a guitar that looks pretty similar to this. I think it might be a little bit more pointy here. I can't remember what it was called. But whatever. It's an offsetty jazz bassy type. Obviously it hangs quite well and stuff like that. Quite a lot of fun. Meteora, it could very well be a Meteora. It doesn't ring a bell to what I saw, but I mean, yes, it could be. I assume the original Meteora is like I can't remember what it's called. There's a few, like, see when in the sort of mid-70s, Fender were kind of using up old bits from old guitars so that you get ones that were like a modified Mustang body that had a chunk cut out it. And then it had I've definitely seen the one that's got like a 12-stringer neck on it, the big Smurf headstock, but it's only got 6 strings because they had parts. So they made a limited run of, a few hundred of using, we've got a big pile of 12-string necks that nobody wants, so we'll put them onto the leftover Mustang bodies and we'll use the Jazzmaster pickups because that, and then now these things are called your classic, not classic vibe, your vintage, not vintage modified either, your alternate reality, but they're making them properly now. But it could be a Meteora, definitely something like that. Yeah, but I got a good cheers Cameron for that guitar earlier on. I've plugged it in, make sure it works. A Squier Mini. After I dropped that guitar earlier on, a wee bit secure about these things. Yeah, so this is a 23-inch scale Strat. It is a hardtail. It's a Squier, and Pal Cameron picked it up for me. He sent me a link last night I think it was about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. There was a link that went up, and it was a guy selling 10 guitars, and it was like he wanted, was it 350 quid for the lot, or 350 quid? No, I can't remember what it was, but well, basically 10, and they were all cheap, and some of them were really nice, and some of them were. To be honest, I think every single one of them was worth what he was asking, but they were all the same price. And I looked at it, and it was because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something. I was like, I'm not going to message somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning, even though I suppose technically it might not have woken them up. But I don't like the idea of messaging someone I don't know. That's a good debate, tremolo or vibrato. I want to mention Roxy again. What was it he called it? A bendy bar. Because you can argue whether it's tremolo or vibrato. Technically, it is vibrato, but a bendy bar covers the lot, and you just call it a bendy bar. And again, whenever you say tremolo or vibrato, I have to do that movement. Same as you get, you push, pull, pop, and a bendy bar. So I'm trying to move bendy bar into my vocabulary because I like that rather than it being a whammy. Because whammies can, you know what I mean? Yeah, I've decided I've moved a few new words into my vocabulary. What was on it? Chonk. It was, Scott was describing his Ibanez Blazer, and it was up here. It's a bit of a chonk. Chonk being something very heavy. Write that down. I'll use that later. And the other one was use it hundreds of times. Going up here. It's a bit of a shanner. And it's like shanner meaning shiter, but it means you're not swearing, so you can say it's a bit of a shanner. So these are words that I'm putting in. HDV0, yeah, Pete and Diesel are amazing. Apparently one of them might, maybe even at this point, have a bucky caster. That was what the guy from Blitzkrieg was saying. She's up here, I've got a band that are playing the bars tonight. Pete and Diesel, you ever heard of them? And then up here, yeah, so they're doing, I think they were signing some records or something in the Blitzkrieg shop on, I assume, yesterday or Saturday. He's up here, yeah, I'm going to try and sell them a bucky caster. If they don't want to buy it, maybe just give them a bucky caster. And I was like, up here, yeah, well, totally. And then he's like, have you heard them? No, and he put on the video, and it's like that video I stuck in the comment there, where it was like, I am from the Isle of Bar. It's like, how quickly do you like something? That's a fucking I love, but yeah, I like you. That's how quickly I was just pure. Yes. And if the guitarist had a bucky caster, that would just be pure supreme. So if Tony did give him a bucky caster, I'll give it to Tony for free as well. Or we'll split the money for it or something. Cut the peat and feed the sheep. No, it's feed the sheep and cut the peat until I die. And it's like, I was pure. Maybe not. I don't know whether everyone's reaction would be that if you weren't Scottish. Because for me, it's like, see the drone footage is just, what planet is this? Well, it's obviously the start of Prometheus. It's got bits of that, and it's also got the crappy Star Wars films, where Luke Skywalker's on the island. It's there as well. It's like that kind of stuff, but it's real, and it's like the difference of any time I've been ever out. Not that I've ever really been out to the Outer Hebrides. I've definitely, if you go up north, even if you go like an hour and a half from here, starts looking like that, but it's not as far out. They're not feeding sheep and cutting peat, but you're in that region, and maybe it's because when I was young, when life was so wonderful, anytime my mum and dad had a chalet in Lochfine, which is about an hour and a half from here, but you can get to Oban and have it's not that far away, but you're in the middle of nowhere. And anytime we would ever go for big drives is when we were on like summer holidays. We used to have like 2 week summer holiday from school, and we would, if it was pure pissing it down, so you couldn't go out in the boat, you couldn't go up the hill, you would go for a drive to somewhere. So I've been to Oban every year since I was 10, to like sort of thing. And anytime we ever went, it was always chucking it down, because that was why we went out for a drive. Is we're in a wee chalet, so obviously mum and dad get pissed off with the kids fighting and stuff. So we go, let's go in the car. We're going to Oban, and we'd go out to sort of these places, and every time we'd be there, it would be a pure stunning scenery, but pissing it down. Whereas whoever it is that owns the drones that are in that video, if you live there, I'm sure, like on a Tuesday between 8 a.m. and lunchtime, it's like Bounty Bar advert, beautiful. The rest of the week it could be black, horizontal rain, death, but when it's nice, it's the nicest place I've ever seen. Cameron, you're too young. Supertramp. Even though I knew some Supertramp. Scooter was like it was a sort of techno version of Supertramp songs. If you look up Supertramp, yeah, I'm going for Bounty Bar advert as like, it's so good that they put it in an advert. But I mean, the thing is that when you look at look up the Pete and Diesel video, amazing. They're just like 3 guys, and they're like, first of all, you see them in some of the videos, and they're like, he's got the proper, the yellow oil skins and the wellies and all that. And you're like, yes, just like real people. Raisby Lochfine oysters with Tabasco are great for a hangover. I don't really know Lochfine oyster. I know the oyster bar. I've been there in my boat several times. I actually walked past Princess Anne going to the oyster bar one time, because I used to go in and buy the wee tubs of smoked mussels. They were quite expensive, but they were amazing. It's just up at the top of the Lochfine. And one time I was going in and it was like a green Land Rover Defender, and I was coming back from. There was one winter I did a fish run, which was going from Glasgow, going up to Loch Awe, picking up smoked fish for Christmas. It only lasted for like 3 weeks or something. Then came back down. One time I went into the oyster bar, I was getting out, and this woman walked past me, and I was like, you recognise that? And then, she's pure familiar. And wearing, like, what do you call the waistcoat? It's kind of like green PVC, but like a hatch pattern on it. And I'm like, oh, I saw somebody driving a Land Rover Defender, and I was like, was it Princess Anne? I was like, fuck, it was Princess Anne. I just walked past her. So I don't know. She's maybe not like some of the other royals. I didn't see no CID guy. She was driving a Land Rover Defender, wearing wellies and going into the thingy. Fish Run was fun. I wrote I'm going to say an amazing song. I wrote a song that I've still not put to the band yet, the Cranking House. It's called The Hollow Mountain. It was me trying to do like a sort of shinty. I was going to say shinty, like a sort of jiggy type thing. But it was called The Hollow Mountain, which I thought sounded quite deep, but it was actually about the Ben Cruachan, which is also quite a good thing, and Ben Vore, which sounds totally like, well, where's Frodo taking the ring? Ben Vore. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's actually a hydroelectric power station that you drive past between Inveraray and Loch Awe, and it's like the mountain has been hollowed out, and at night, hydroelectric power, all the water runs down, powering Scotland, and then at night when they've got tons of power and it's still coming down, it's like, oh no, it's like, what do we do with this power? We have to just get rid of it. They just reverse the pumps, and it pumps the water back into the Hollow Mountain when there's not that much demand, so that tomorrow they can let it run back out again. So that's the Hollow Mountain, even though I made it, the words were a wee bit more kind of Lord of the Ringsy type thing, and a bit, we should just do more of that, rather than your nuclear shite and all that. Just like, we've got the water, we can do it, and it's not that difficult. It's the future, not when don't want to get political. Yep, so we should be doing more hydroelectric stuff and stuff like Ben Cruachan, The Hollow Mountain, and I'll write the song. I wish I could. I must have. I had a guitar with me. But it's definitely that. Which I need to run more after playing that. The Pete and Diesel. I'm just going to put this down because it's a Floyd Rose that I've been pure decking that doesn't have clamps on it. So if anyone's got any ideas, think about it, what would you want in that? What should I do? I don't really want to paint the scratch plate because it's quite nice. I do need to cut that because it annoys me that it's too flat. I need to do more of that. And then switch. I don't know. But let's see if the Squire Mini works. Is that a good idea? Am I just gonna regret that almost immediately? This is 23 inch, which means that it should be able to handle maybe not 8s or 9s, but 10s. And these strings are probably 10 years old. Wow, it was bendy. I'm just too good at playing really, really, really badly set up guitars. I'm too used to it. Yeah, Cameron, this is I started telling a story earlier on. I had a guy who was selling the guitars, and there was 3 out of those ones. We're now skipping back. Oh, half an hour, maybe more than that, when I was talking about this and I got sidetracked. You do have the mini P bass. I want a shot. Have you still got the mini P bass, Buster? Are you? I was talking about you in the video, and I was doing Scott. I totally. When the world runs out of power, acoustic will be in high demand. I do remember having a power cut and going, yeah, I need to. I'll get the acoustic out, and then it's like pure right, and it's like when there's a power cut, you've got a candle. That'll be a power cut. I'll get the acoustic, and then it's like suddenly you can't find the acoustic, and you're trying to dig the acoustic. You're holding the acoustic, trying not to melt shit. And it's like, it becomes harder than you think, and you go up here. Oh, I'll maybe just put the telly on. I can't. It's not just electric guitar you lose when there's a power cut. You lose everything. I don't even know. I don't even have an acoustic line about here. I mean, if I ran out, acoustic high demand food and bucky and smokes, yeah, going to be tough. I don't maybe. The thing is, I mean, we're kind of getting away, but I think I don't want to talk about politics. I think our power, we're going Mad Max here. I think maybe the whole world is a little bit, but we're going more. It's a shame because that kind of the Mad Malco name I chose was partly to do with Mad Max because obviously Mad Max 2 is pure amazing. Yeah, I was saying, Buster, the last two Guitar Safari videos I've done, Scott's pointed out the mini P bass as being interesting. I knew you did have one, but I thought you'd sold it and bought a Jackson Minion, which is basically exactly the same thing, but without a scratch plate to point headstock. They're both made by the same people. Yeah, Mad Max 1 is awesome as well. Mad Max 3 has the song, and you can't watch once you notice how much Tina Turner is loving being in it. It's hard not to get. Some of it's terrible, but I used to be able to. I'm going to. The strings on this were original. I'm going to have to put on a guitar that works, basically. But me and my pals did when I was in my last house, just before the place was coming to bits, just before I took the drum kit down. We played "We Don't Need Another Hero," and that's a pure amazing song. I can't. And it's like the bit goes up, and we don't, and it's like life beyond the Thunderdome. It's amazing. I couldn't believe it actually had Thunderdome in the title because it's like the song sounds like it's a pure no. This is a really powerful and serious song that's got a message to go that we just happened to use for the peak of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and it's like no. This is a song written for Thunderdome, and it's like pure Tina's gone at that pure. This is going to be great. I'm going to be brilliant in it. The song I'm going to do is going to be a fucking belter. I've actually seen it live. I went to see John Fogerty, and I think it was 2000, who was supporting Tina Turner in Hampden Park. And we all just went to see John Fogerty from Cleveland's Clearwater Revival because nobody else knew who he was, I don't think. And Tina's all right. And we'd all ran out of booze and stuff, and we were going to try and get back for 10 o'clock to get to the shop outside Hampden to get more booze. And then Tina came on, and it was like, even though we were we kept walking our way to the back, and the first 10 Tina songs were just bang, bang, bang. And it was like, that she played the Acid Queen and Nutbush City Limits and We Don't Need Another Hero. And it's like, when you go and see, if you get a chance to go and see Tina Turner, well, I suppose this is 20 years ago, it's all flipping amazing. And she doesn't have 3 songs that are good. We only got like a first quarter of the concert, and the first 10 were just rapid, absolutely amazing. Couldn't believe it. Tina kicks ass. Actually, I mentioned this the other day. I was in the co-op up the road, and it was in Asda, and it was Nutbush City Limits. So wow. It was pure fucking amazing. Oh no, I think Green's what they ban electric guitars. Never, no, because you can run electric guitars off wind power. That's fine. How much electricity does a guitar need? Nothing. You know what I mean? No, I wouldn't bother. You're old enough to remember there was only one Mad Max. I don't. It was possibly Mad Max 3 didn't exist. What's it? I had no idea what year it is, but just going by the sound of Tina songs, it must be 1986, 1987. So did I see Mad Max 2 before that? Probably. I would have been in 1987. I was 9. Did I see Mad Max 2 before that? I have to believe I did. I remember being super shocked at the bit where the boomerang takes the guy's hands off and the fingers off, and everyone was just laughing. That's an amazing film. I need to move it. Also, which I never got the first time I saw it. I don't know why. Beyond Thunder, not Fury Road. I watched it and thought, yeah, that's pretty good. And then I watched it again, and it's amazing. The Fury Road film. I don't think there's any talk. I think there's maybe about 10 lines in the whole film. The rest is just awesomeness. If you've not seen Fury Road, check it out. Get it on a big screen. Get a good quality version of it. Get the volume up and just sit there and just go. And it's just nuts, pure amazing. It's obviously apparently it's the same guy that directed it as well, and I think he's only ever done I think it's the only 3 films he's ever done was like 1, 2, and 4. Nuts. 1979. Wow. Also, I'm talking about Mad Max 2. It's not actually called Mad Max. Am I right? It's not called Mad Max 2 in America. It's called The Road Warrior, I think. Whereas in the UK, because my DVD has Mad Max 2 on the cover, but the actual disc is called The Road Warrior because the American one it wasn't called Mad Max 2. Apparently. I need to have a look at Repo Man. I totally know the name. '79. I was 10. I don't know. I think I never listened to music. I mean, maybe it's by hey, you're Tetrahedron. Repo Man. I need to look up Repo Man. What is Repo Man? I totally recognize the name, but I don't think I've seen it. Rule 10 by the Plucks. Sure not. Actually, I was in air, but it was at 9 o'clock at night. I was actually going to pop in and say hello to you, Neon Tetrahedron, when I was down picking up those 2 bases. I thought, it's like pure. If it had been during the day on a Saturday or something, but it was like a Tuesday night at something 8 o'clock at night. It was pissing down with rain. It was dark, and it's like it's not really the sort of pop in for a cup of tea type moment. But I was going to come in. Hey, Fraz, ever tried El Dorado? LD? I've not done a live stream. I've not tried it live on the internet, but yes, I've even done an El Dorado caster guitar, which is in Blitzkrieg shop in town right now. At one point in the COVID thing, the Bucky stopped flowing. This was before I started doing the Sunday night live stream, so I really needed Bucky. But yet the shop started doing LD, and LD is all right. It's not as good as Bucky, basically, but it's a nice wee refreshing change. And I think it was £1 cheaper a bottle. But that was a while ago. The shop doesn't do it anymore because I asked for it 6 months ago. So you still do LD? And I was like, no, we only did LD because we couldn't get Bucky. Like, oh, sorry. Okay. Oh. Yeah, Neon, I'll be back down as I keep seeing things. I need to get rid of fun. I've got a few more guitars. They keep coming in. They're coming in. It's like I'm getting through the projects, like things like the Tony Iommi guitar, which has been sitting there for 6 months. That's it now done, and I've done a few. I've got the Bucky Van Halen, the Buccalo bass, and Bucky Telecaster, and the Saxon Les Paul and Blitzkrieg shop. So they're gone now as well. And then it's like, right, I can now get onto the ones that are further back in the pile of guitars I need to get onto. And then these basses turned up. I can't say no. I can't not. They were at the price where I can't not have them. And then as Cameron came in earlier on, I got a mini Squire Strat, and it's like, well, it's a mini bucky caster without any effort at all. I'm going to try and work out another switch for it. I'd like a switch that somehow was in one position, just a Strat. The next one gives you your Dave Gilmore, and the next one gives you these two wired together in series as a humbucker. Not worked out how to do it. Not sure if it's possible, but that'd be nice. So you've got like a Strat, right? What do you want? Switch, Telecaster in the middle, because that's the best sounds. And then a humbucker would be flipping brilliant. Not worked out how to do it yet. It can be done. I'm sure it can be done. Yeah, Neon, we take out a chat. Give me a message anytime. I'm going to say a photo. Give me a message whenever you want. Fries full bottles are a $5. I don't think it was a $5. You get quarters of LD. That's getting into the dangerous territory. That's the one you drink on the way to work. 8 o'clock in the morning. A wee quarter bottle just to get you on the bus. That's a dangerous thing. I don't know if you want to do that. I'm sure it's not a $5. I don't know. Maybe it is. I think I'm trying to think. I've got a funny feeling. I've got a funny feeling there's one sitting in the hall, which I didn't throw out because we stopped doing it, and I was maybe thinking of making an LD base because as it sits, I've only ever done one LD caster. I think it might have been 529. Or I chucked it out. No, man, I binned it. So there's more LD. There's no more LD casters on the way because I binned the bottle. So I need to go to Kirky to get LD, which I might very well do. Is the monkey in C-sharp tuning? No, it's not. I don't really see why I shouldn't put it in C-sharp tuning. I'd like to. I play in the band I'm in. In fact, I should put it in C-sharp tuning and give it to Craig, who's the guitarist in the Black Sabbath band I'm in, who've got a gig next week, with no rehearsal. It's just rocking, just drinking. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I suppose I could handle it. I had problems with this guitar. The reason it was a pure bitch to build, it wasn't a case of, I'll just put P90s in it. I'll just put the John Birch pickup rings on it. I'll just put that. All those things, all of them took ages and were horrors of work. So I mean, it's like, there's more blood and sweat in this than there is guitar. But I mean, now you would never know unless you watch my video, which I've not done yet, if I decide to tell you what the problems were. But now you wouldn't know. Now you just pick this up and go, oh, that's a significantly improved vintage SG. You want a Telecaster at the bingo? Telecasters are always good. Try to think if there's one I've had that wasn't good. Nah, not really. I've had one that was maybe not brilliant. Most Telecasters are amazing. And I will watch Repo Man. I know the name, but I've never seen it. Well, obviously, nowadays, you just fucking look up. Oh, I wonder if Scott's watching that. We've got the burst over to the left's coming out. It's coming straight. Sorry, the volcano is once I've given up this, have a look at have a watch of the volcano, like with the sound on for just 10 minutes, and you'll end up starting to watch it. You can see it. It's amazing. The summit between Ravensmead and Malco. Who's Ravensmead? We having a summit? Tokai country? I don't really know what's going on here. It sounds quite mad. Shallow V, go for the full V. I don't know where you get these things. I mean, I was going to say, if you're looking for a cheap V neck, look at the Washburn, the A series and the Force series, but neither of them is going to fit onto a Strat, so you need to have the whole guitar. No full V. I don't know. It's like I think it is worth going the full way, the full V. Well, if you're getting a Washburn Force, the only guitar I've got, I think, that's got a shallow V is my 1980 4 Washburn Force. You do get them in America, and they will be cheap as shit because nobody knows what they are, but they're flipping amazing. That's got a shallow V. The only deep earlier ones have got deep V's. The 83. I don't know. It's like Panta, you're talking about like a. I like it to be a bit different. I like to get a guitar that's got something different I've not really played before. So the V thing, the thing about a deep V is, see when you're playing kind of like this, so you've got your thumb there and you're giving it that kind of thing. It's got the thinnest neck you can imagine. It's like playing on like a ruler, or like a slide rule, and then it's thick in the middle because it's, you know, it's like, because it's, if you imagine, I'm going to end up dropping this again, aren't I? You know, because you're playing on the V right here, it's so low, it's pure amazing, and in the middle it's normal and it doesn't move. When's the gig you're playing? Should we put it's next Saturday. I might get some video footage. I'm not really sure. It was meant to be in summer, so it was meant to be outdoor, and now it's indoor, and it's in a barn, or what used to be, I think at one point it was stables, and then it's now a gym with a drum kit at one end. So it's kind of going to be a bit mental. I've still not decided whether I'm going to drink at it though, because the original plan in the summer was start drinking mildly during Cranking House, which is the second band that's on that I'm playing guitar in. You know, maybe spark the bucky halfway through, a couple of sips, sit through the Led Zeppelin band, in the Black Sabbath band, you know, a couple of sips, it gets halfway through, tan the bucky, get mad to it. And now I'm kind of not sure, because it's going to be dark and freezing, and I don't actually have a tent. I might stay sober. But I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know. It kind of depends what everyone else is doing. It does seem a bit like a pure killjoy thing if I don't drink. So maybe it's kind of my duty. And it's the only, when am I ever going to get the chance to go and play in 2 bands at a pure private thing that nobody's invited to, that's got a free bar? It's got a free bar. So I'm going to be at a free bar that's actually got Bucky on optics at my request and not drink it. I've kind of talked myself out it. Maybe it's the Bucky talking, but really, I've got to stay, don't I? I've got to stay and get hammered. And also, Ali's saying that he's decided that, as soon as he's stripped his whole gym out for this gig, he's going to take this opportunity to change the carpet. So I've given the Black Sabbath band, you're allowed to puke and bleed on the carpet as much as you want. So I really got to get pure slamming drunk, thrown up on the floor, breaking things, sleeping in a bin or something. It's not that cold. Nah, thinking. But I will need to get somebody to come and. I've got my GoPro. The problem is the GoPro only does 2 hours, but there's 4 bands who are all doing half an hour, so it's kind of. I don't want to be the guy who goes in and only videos my own band, but in the other respects, I don't want to be the guy who goes in and videos the bands that I'm not in, and then doesn't get the full set of the 2 bands I'm in. Yeah. I do like the full V, but it's all a personal choice. Maybe it depends on what kind of full V. The thing is that the ones I know, the Washburn ones, are asymmetrical, so they are thicker. You know, the point, the tip of the V is not there. The tip of the V is here, which is probably very different from one where the tip of the V is there. So when you're sitting, because your hand is that shape, it becomes, you're playing on a flat board between there and there, so it becomes very, very easy to play, but a bit strange. No super thin neck. I kind of agree a bit as well. The thin necks are not necessarily make it easier to play. Sometimes they sort of do. I don't know. It's a funny one, because when you look at, see something like the Wizard's neck or an Ibanez RG, it's got a special truss rod thing on it they invented. So the thinness of an Ibanez RG neck between here and here is the thinnest you can get, but they're much squarer, so it's very flat on the neck. It doesn't have the same curve because it's squarer, so it's a strange thing. I've done this, play the first gig, then go for a chippy and come back and go into the normal gig. I can see that. Well, to be honest, there's a fire pit barbecue going on there. It's not a gig, and to be honest, if I've been drinking, to get to a chippy is probably going to be about 30 or 40 quid in taxis. It's right in the middle of nowhere. The nearest, within it, I looked at it on Google Maps, within like a 4-mile barrier, there's only 3 houses within a 4-mile radius or a 2-mile radius. There's only 3 houses, and all the people in those houses are going to be at the gig. So it's like, you know, he's in it's in the middle of the country. It's like it's a private party thing. It's got the potential to be absolutely amazing, but it's also got the potential to be a total disaster. But it doesn't really matter if it's a total disaster, because I mean, we've had bad. Obviously, the COVID things messed up the band. It was meant to be at the end of July, and we were at the end of August, and then it got delayed because of the COVID again. And the Cranking House band, the band I was playing guitar in, we'd kind of done half a dozen songs, sort of got 2 of them all right before the whole COVID thing happened, then came back, and we've maybe had 8 rehearsals in the last 6 months. But it's been we've maybe had 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks off, 1 week, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, and now it's come to we've still never played the 30-minute set all the way through without stopping to discuss the next song. We were meant to be doing it next week, but the 2 of the guys are both doing different things, so we're just going to have to wing it. The Black Sabbath band was doing great, and the drummer became really ill. Rob, love you, man. I hope you're alive, and I hope you survive. Basically, if you think you're going to die, stop. Even if it's only after the first song, that's fine. I would much rather do 1 song and you live than 6 songs and then he'd some bad shit going on. Totally non-deserving of it. There is no God, definitely. But so it's going to be interesting. Apparently, the Led Zeppelin band. So it's meant to be 4 bands. The first band's nothing to do with me. The second band is the Cranking House one. I'm playing guitar. The third band is a Led Zeppelin band, which I get asked to join a couple of times on bass. And then when they didn't have, no, I was asked to join on guitar. I said no, and then they got a guitarist. I was asked to join on bass. I said no, so kind of not been in this one. And I know everyone in the band totally. And then it's the Black Sabbath band. So there's 4 bands. The Led Zeppelin band. Apparently, the guy who's playing guitar maybe is going to be ill, so they might not be there. It's going to be a total disaster. But so maybe just getting pissed is the way to go. And I think, see, if I drink enough, Bucky, especially if I take a bottle with me. I don't know. See, that's the thing. The thing is, I've been doing the thing with the 1 gig we managed to do, even though we had like half a dozen booked. The 1 gig we managed to do with the Black Sabbath band before COVID broke out a week later. We got like monks' robes and shit. So coming on, like you're at the start of Black Sabbath with the rain and the thunder, and then we all come on, with the hoods up and stuff, play the first song. So I'm basically, because it's coming up to Halloween, I'm going to dress up I'm going to wear the robes basically the whole time. So, and then I'm going to be a Buckfast monk. Obviously, that's the perfect thing to have hidden. Yeah, so I've talked myself into it. I was going to wait until we're having a jam tomorrow night with the Sabbath band, just to make sure we can do it all. We can do it all. We're fine. And I was thinking, I don't know if anyone else is going to drink, but I mean, I have to. Buckstock, yeah, totally. But yeah, the trick is there. We've got the fire pit barbecue, and if you get, that's a super danger. If you're not paying for it, and you can get pure amazing fire pit burgers, are you gonna eat one? Are you gonna eat 2? Are you gonna eat 6? So many burgers that you physically, even though they're amazing, or me anyway, I can't eat anymore. Not a case of I shouldn't, I don't, I'm not hungry. No. I physically cannot eat anymore. That's what I'm getting to. Did I ever get around to watching Hell Bent? No. It's ringing a bell somewhere back. Did you mention it to me on a live stream when I was pissed. It's ringing a bell. Was it a sort of Spinal Tappy type thing? But I mean, yeah, Buckstock is. I think I don't know. The scary thing is, I mean, see if I turn out, say I decide I'm going to stay sober, right? So I can drive home. The sensible thing to do, yeah. The drummer and Ali's like, I put anything in the bar. I was like, get Bucky on Optics. Was the first thing I said. So there's going to be 4 bottles of Bucky on Optics. So if nobody else drinks it, I've got to drink that. So I can't not do it. Hey Daniel, you got a new job? Rocking. I've been on for 2.5 hours, man. I mean, I don't know how long these things are meant to be, and I've spilt. In fact, I know this is totally unacceptable, but I've spilt Bucky down the side of the bottle, and it's pure. My hands are pure sticky. So 2 seconds to think of a good question. I just need to wipe this crap off my fingers. Not that I'm one of those pure crazy people that's pure inherently super clean. It's just see like a sticky. I cannot handle sticky fingers. I do love the album Sticky Fingers, but sticky fingers I cannot do. So catch you later, Daniel. Amazing. Stuck a link in the comment to one of your own videos. I'll need to come up and get it. I'll keep searching back. If I've got YouTube seems to choose when it decides to send me things that have been commented on. I came back last night and it was like 12 comments. It's like very rarely is it more than 9 comments. Totally good luck, Daniel, whatever job it is you're doing. I'm sure it'll be amazing. Yeah. We're all behind you, man. Get out, and when you turn up as your seal clubbing job, you club those seals. Sorry. Westone Pantera. Westone Pantera's it's not a guitar in a warehouse clubbing seals. Well, I suppose that means they can't run away, and it's probably not that cold. So you want probably best to have them captive seals. Clubbing. I've gone on the Daniel Burbridge Club Seals thingy. It's not true though. Is it expensive? I don't know. The Pantera is a funny one. It never really appealed to me. But see, when you get it, it's a different level. Occasionally you get a guitar that you know that somebody, I don't know who it is, I don't know any of the background is on it. Somebody has tried to make the best guitar in the world, is what the Pantera is. I'm not saying they've failed, or I'm not saying they've super succeeded, but somebody has tried to make the best guitar in the world. There's a few kind of that sits in there as well. Not saying they weren't successful, they were, but it wasn't done by a committee. It's not. Here's your. I keep fucking slagging off classic vibes. Yeah, it's not that. It's like here's a guitar. We want it to be $500 worth. It's got to be a good guitar for $500. That's not the Panteras. What's the best guitar in the world? We want to be the best, and as soon as you play one, it's so obvious when you play it. Everything is just like pure. I've never played a Parker Fly. I've a feeling that might be part of it. It's like totally new. The Pantera's nuts. It's the last Westone, basically. Westone had their own research and development department in the because the Westone were actually owned by the Matsumoku factory. They had an R&D department. That's why the Paduak, which Jess was talking about earlier on, and the Thunder are what they are. They had a specialized department in the factory that were making designs for other people. That were making their Arias and their Epiphones and whoever else they were making. But Westone were actually their own house brand, and they had an R&D department. So that's why the Thunder is what it is. It wasn't an accident. They had, I don't know, probably only talking 10 folk designing this shit, trying to make the best guitar in the world, and the Pantera was the last stab. And in another world, Steve Vai would have taken the Pantera, and Westtone would be what Ibanez are now. It didn't. Steve Vai got the Westtone, the Ibanez gem, and I think it pulled Ibanez out of hole because they kept changing their thing every year. Everything changed until 1987 when the Ibanez gem came out, and suddenly, bang, we've got this super virtuoso player back, and that's what they ran it on, and they're still running it. I mean, Steve Vai's in every Ibanez catalogue since 1987. Pantera, although they had Trevor Rabin and other people, they're not, maybe at the time they were bigger than Steve Vai, but the Pantera could have done it, and it didn't. And I think that's basically what you're comparing it to. You're comparing is the original 1987 Steve Vai version of the Ibanez gem, the Pantera, and put the two of them together. I don't know. It depends which one. I mean, let's not piss about. I know it because it was sitting there. My hands are still sticky, but I don't care. That's attached itself to the. There we go. Man, why is it when you've been drinking it, you've drank a bottle of bucky, nothing ever goes smoothly? And why is this coiled lead attached itself to that? Right. So, Westtone Pantera, right? And this one, I bought two of them, and we're talking about the price you're talking about there. I got both of them because they were very, very dirty and very, very in need of setting up. Basically rebuilt them from scratch. This one still needs a deep polish because I got two of them. I got the pink one, and basically it wasn't until the video I noticed the pink Pantera being whatever it is for Panther. So the pink, obviously it's not been in tune since I played it, but it's like seeing. It's so ergonomic. I mean, even the back. See if you look at the bottom of it, it's curved, but it's curved that way, in the way, and you don't really notice that looking at it until you put it on, and suddenly it's like a. I know you could argue it's a super Strat, but it is. It's more ergodynamic than a Stratocaster is. It's got all the same things that a Strat does, but more because the top curves over this way and the back curves in this way, and it's just stunning. And I'm going to try and tune it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it without. But E's okay. A's okay. T's flat. It's got a Floyd Rose. Wouldn't be great if I could do it without. Oh, G's high. I don't think I ever got to putting elixirs on it. And he's string. I've not played this in months. It's a stunner. It really is. It's just more than anything. It's a strange one. This one, the other one I had, the one I swapped with my pal Wayne. The thing was that I didn't want to sell the other one. I bought two, which I shouldn't. Well, I basically bought two for less than one should go for because they both needed well set up. But I made the better one, and it was kind of. I don't want to sell this for 400 quid. that's what I would have picked up. So the one you're looking at $350 is cheaper than the one and I thought it's a guitar that's worth more than that. Whether it's worth more than that, as in that's how much you would get for it, maybe not, but there's not a guitar you could buy that's better than it for that. It's just that for me, it's not a particularly pretty guitar, but it's just like one of those things that when you get something that's really well designed, it's not like a case of somebody's drawn it, just given it to someone and said, make that. This has been thought about, and it's really clear. It balances like absolutely perfectly. In many ways, it doesn't quite have a straight string pull, and I don't have the proper, that's actually a Caller nut thing on it, which I want to put on another guitar, so I maybe need to do some fiddling to make that work. But yes, the Spectre basses, yes, I see it. Just spotted your pride post Roxy's videos where he name checks you. Roxy's been name checking me again. I feel really guilty. He did appear one time in the chat on one of these, and as soon as I appeared, Roxy, I know the guy. He's lovely. He's funny as fuck. I think he does 2 videos a week. I need to catch up. It's like the problem is like see those arseholes you used to hear about, like when you'd get like, I don't know if whoever did it's up here. No, I don't listen to other music so it doesn't interfere with the direction I'm going. I'm kind of going a bit that way, where it's like I don't really watch any guitar videos. I've been watching otter videos on YouTube, which, as in literally videos about folk in Japan who've got otters and take them out in the river, finding that quite mesmerizing. It's like better than watching Star Wars figures and old shitty computer games. Not that I'm in, I don't know anything about otters. I've seen one live once. I did have a computer when I was like 16. I never had a Nintendo NES, but still watch this crap. So I need to get into a bit more like that. I'll just send Roxy a fucking bucky caster. He's got to drink a bottle of bucky in the video though. So if Roxy, if you're watching, if you're in there, it's like, I'll give you one, right? But you've got to drink a bottle of bucky. You've got to do a live stream and drink a bottle of bucky so that you basically fall on it and break it by the end. I'm sitting here thinking about in fact, it's got a push-pull coil split. But I mean, it's so. I mean, this is 1987, 1986. So it's right on the verge. It's like, this could have been. Trevor Rabin had one. There's an even cooler one if you look on eBay UK. There's one that's got like a cut that comes in here, but it kind of just drops down 10 mil, and it looks really cool. I don't know what it really means. I suppose it means you could maybe get higher on the fretboards. But I mean, it does. It's only got 22 frets. So I was like, I need 24 frets, so it doesn't have more. It's only got the HSS, so it doesn't have the HSH. And it doesn't have, it's got a Bendmaster Deluxe tremolo, which is Gotoh built and better than, I was going to say 90% there, but let's go 95% of all the Floyd Roses ever built, because this is made of metal. So it's as good as a real Floyd Rose, like a Gotoh or a Scholler one. And I think, to be honest, 90% of them probably are cheap ones. Doesn't have the grip at the top, though. Well, this one doesn't have the original grip anyway. But and this never got elixir strings. This has still got rotos. I still never finished this guitar because I got 2 of them, as I said, and my plan was I couldn't wait. Neither of them played, and I had to stick one together so I could play it, see what it was like. And then I was going to do the second one. I was going to take my time and clean it, make it work properly, and that's the one I swapped with my pal Wayne for that, because he had 2 of them, and I've always wanted one of them. Live and steaming. Yeah, possibly. What, right now? Live! steaming. Yes, I am. I'm steaming. Yeah. West Tone Pantera. Lots of stops and different guitars from Japan that I like live and streaming. I'm out of tune, but it doesn't matter for this room. And I want to play guitar and drink Bogfast. This could do with a little bit of a setup, to be honest. This is, yeah. So best way just to wing it and see what happens. A PV Horizon. You need to look. The thing over here, we don't get very many PVs. The only ones I know are my pal Dava, I think, is probably gone to sleep by now. He's got a Falcon Stratocaster, which is beautiful, and it was really cheap for what is basically like an amazing Stratocaster. It's got a not nice headstock. Interestingly, this has got quite an interesting headstock. This one's a bad one. I sort of gave Wayne a good one. This was a wee bit sun faded on the top. But see how it's kind of smooth on the bottom, kind of pointy, and sort of stick it in your kind of vulture-y looking somewhere. Definitely got an eagle's beak thing going on, but see how it's like kind of carved in the front. Pretty cool. The neck is black painted, my least favourite colour of black. Bolt on neck. Only one knob, but it's totally coming in as a strap when I play it. The pickups as well is interesting. I have to admit that, see, the one I gave to my pal Wayne, it didn't have the original pickup in it. This one already had this pickup. The other one had like an MMK45. This is like an MMK45 that's got half a blade pickup and half a normal one. That looks really cool. If you look at Marlin Sidewinder guitars from the 90s, they had this. They copied it basically, but not the same pickup. This is a Gotoh built. Is my backing track my voice still on? No. We're blanked over it. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, see when you get a Floyd Rhodes that's actually working, it's really like when you trust it, and it's like I got to the point there where I was trusted where you're just going, let's try and see what you're doing. The one where you lift the guitar up with it and all that, it's like it's got it there. And this needs it still needs work. There's no way this guitar is set up to its maximum potential. The one I gave to Wayne, if you're not we watching this now, but if you watch this a replay, the one you got is set up the way this one should be, but the potential is there. It's like when you come out with you know yourself, if you're buying a guitar, see a really, really, really good guitar, like the best guitar you can get, badly set up, high action, shite strings, crunchy controls, bad input jack, it still plays, and you can feel that it's there. This I would put in, if you're going just from on a piece of paper on an oscilloscope, this is the best guitar Westone have ever built. And they've done some amazing stuff, but this was the peak of it. I think there are higher versions of this. I think there's a neck through one. I think that's about as much higher as you can go. The active pickups, it's a fun thing, but I don't think it makes it a better guitar unless you want to use the active pickups, because obviously nowadays, what would have been at the time a £50 active circuit is now like what's the cheapest boost pedal you can get that's on the floor? So instead of having to operate it on the guitar, you can just operate it with your foot. Is it the Coco one? The 15 quid or 20 quid? That's better, and it's also cleaner because it's no longer in your guitar and you can operate it with your foot. So, and most people, so I don't know. I do need to dig this. I need to give this a proper run. I've not tried it in the band yet. Seeing as we've got no more rehearsals to go, I wonder if I should. I'm pure tempted to take this in and just basically, as my spare guitar, okay, I'm going to take in the Shocking Bird, which has got a supremely microphonic pickup in it, which might be a complete disaster immediately because we've not really been playing at a gig, so there's been no monitors or anything like that, and the pickup in it is it's not as microphonic as the most microphonic one I've had, but if I just pure go into it, it totally comes through the amps like mad. Which I was planning if we had one more rehearsal, which just turned out to be nothing. So it's basically, I'm going to have to drink bucky. If I've had a couple of sips of bucky, I'll be charged up. Ideally, the way to start a gig is to run up to the front, stand in the monitor and go until everyone starts cheering and then come in with my riff, because I'm starting it. I'm starting the gig with distortion. So really, I should, instead of just starting, I should be giving it pure, and then pure up at the front going, and then get everyone pure joining in. That might need the bucky. The problem is that I've got another band to go, which is the Black Sabbath band, and I'm kind of not leading that one. And the trick there is not to, if you're going to drink an entire bottle of bucky, make sure you start playing the guitar before you start drinking, and you continue to play the guitar through your drinking. Don't have a wee bit of a jam at the start. Get pure tanked. Go and get a guitar from next door that you've not played in 6 months with rusty strings and a Floyd Rose that works, and just batter it. I think that's pretty obvious. But I'm kind of ready. Anyone get anything else to say? Have I missed anything from earlier on? Thanks again to EU, who's not on tonight, the Australian dude. That's probably because it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. Watching some drunk guy in Scotland is probably not the best thing to watch at 11 o'clock in the morning. There's anything else to go? I think I might start wrapping up. We've got 3 years. Go Pontiac. What are the list of guitars you want in your head? I'll stay on for that. That sounds interesting. Give me a list. I'll tell you how good they fucking if they're in my category. This is not the thing about this is it's not really the sort of thing I would normally like. It didn't really appeal to me on paper. I've seen them before. It wasn't one I looked at and went, "That's me." It wasn't until, I'll be honest, it's before I played it. I'd already seen basically 2 of them for the price of 1 is what happened. And I was figuring I can make the best one out of the 2 and probably get my money back and end up with this one free. Is what I was thinking. But as soon as I saw it in person, it was like pure, oh, that's because I mean you do see, I'm not saying you see guitars like this, but you see guitars that have a similar aura to them, a similar impact, and they're not under £2,000. You know, they are, or $3,000. They are the most expensive guitars you can see. Oh. Aria, Westone, Electra, Westbury, Ibanez, Yamaha, Peavey. What, you don't like Washburns? Yeah. I don't know. The thing is these things you can definitely get, but just having a little bit of knowledge about looking at what it is you're going for. But it's the same as anything. I mean, just now I'm trying to find a phone, and I hate phones. I'm not interested in phones, but the phone I've got is like 12 years old, and it doesn't even run WhatsApp, which one of my bands kind of runs on. So they kind of have their conversations, and then once they've decided something, they Facebook message me because I can use it on my computer, whereas you can't really use that. An Electra Invicta Natural. I don't know what that is. That's not one you get over here. It might be. Is it one of the ones that looks? You don't have to apologise for this. I was only winding you up. Sorry. It's like in Scotland when you're pals with someone, you call them a dick all the time. That's kind of what I was doing there. I wasn't being offensive, but yeah. Oh. Yeah, I know what I mean. All these things are fun, but it's just there isn't. I'm one for. I'd love to have. I mean, even if I had infinite money and I, was a doctor or something, or an architect or a dentist, and I could afford to blow £1,500, £2,000 on a guitar, I just don't think I would be able to get a guitar for. Give me £1,500 and go into, or £2,000 to go into a guitar shop and buy a guitar that's actually better than this. I'm not saying worth more money. Yes, you buy a guitar for £2,000, it's immediately worth £1,500. This is not worth £1,500. Is it better? Does it play better, sound better, and feel better? No, it doesn't. These are the peak of thingy. It's a kind of strange one. Electra Invicta. I think I might know the one you mean. See, Electra are funny ones. You don't get very many of them on this side of the pond in the UK. We didn't really get Electras. They were an American company that ordered shit from Matsumoku. We got some of it. There's a guitar in America that goes for a lot of money, which basically just looks like any British person that looks on the Matsumoku Facebook page or whatever it is. It's like you see, I've got this. Is it maybe called a Phoenix? They got up here. Here we go. This is pure amazing. Oh, I got this. And they'd be paying like $500, and it's like that's a Westone Spectrum. And basically, for a Westone Spectrum for us consisted of 5 models that ran from 1984 to 1987, and they were well hammered in the magazines. And there's lots of them. Like for that year, if you're looking for guitars that were sold in between 1984 and 1987. The Westone Spectrum's a high one because they were really good guitars. They were keenly priced, but solid. So, but in America, you only got the one model, which it was the same body shape basically as the Westone Spectrum and other ones. But you had, because you were Electra, they were like an American company buying stuff over, and they did stuff together. Hey Scott, you're back in. The Red Spanners and Electra, yes. But that's kind of in the middle somewhere. The Red Spanner. I mean, damn, it just got better. I wish I'd sold it to you for more. Now you called it the Red Spanner, not Red Spanner, Red, because that's what. But isn't it amazing? I do not have the Pontiac. I do not have the Westone, the Westbury. No, but the guy Ste, who lives 100 yards, 200 yards in that direction, has one. And in fact, actually, the last time he's actually got another box. He said, I just got a random message from him saying, oh, triangular box in the post. So I'd imagine he might have bought a bass version of it. It's amazing, but I've not seen them. Yeah, the red part. No, I think you'll find it is the. Oh, is it? Is it a West Tone Electra or is it just an Electra? It's a funny one. I don't know. You get West Tone in Canada, possibly. Yeah. Do you get like the Spectrum series? I don't know. It's like it depends what it is that are coming in from different. You know, they've obviously got like a different approach, and maybe if maybe North America had Electra being the main thing, so Matsumoto have a deal with Electra, so they don't want to step on the toes of Electra by releasing West Tone, and then being in competition with their biggest customer. So you might find that maybe the West Tones went no, but the same in the other way. Occasionally we got some Electras. Maybe America got some West Tones, or Canada got slightly more. If you're in Canada, have a look at see if you can find Daons, because Daons are made by that Yamaki, and that's kind of they're a distributor in there, and they had one not in Denmark, one of the European countries. You don't see many Daons in the UK, but they are basically the company that made the Falcon, and there's a more advanced version than that. The Falcon or the Eagle was the top of the range, which is basically that with more binding, but the Daon version, there's another one up which has got like a 7-piece neck, and it's a little bit more fancy. Even Keith Richards says they're all just wooden wires. That's it. But I mean, that's what kind of blows it away with something like my Shocking Birds, which I mean, the rest of it, I'm not slagging off the rest of the guys in my band, right? But the bass player plays guitar, knows a little bit, right? The drummer knows fuck all about guitars, and the singer knows fuck all about guitars. And they were like, pure, that, what is going on? That is the best, and this is literally a joist with shite on it and a neck I got out of bin. But it's got something, it's got more, it's more than the sum of its parts by miles. And it really, when I said I was getting a bit upset when it turned out we weren't even getting another rehearsal for the gig, the comment was, "You've got that new guitar, you'll rock it." And it's like, they've got the faith in this guitar that I made out of literally 2 joists left over from work. That's worth more than the most expensive guitar. It's like, pure, instead of this, I'll have an $8,000 Les Paul Standard. This is going to be better because that is the one that's got the faith in it, and that's the one I believe in. It's like the Electra Outlaw. I don't know. I mean, they've got different names, but some of the Electras are models that we get with different. I think you get Panteras in America. I think by that point, by 86, 87, they kind of dispersed a bit. Fender Custom Shop, $25,000, £300 Matsumoto. That's it. I mean, it's kind of hard. I don't know if Buster's still on, but he's just bought his first Matsumoto bass. I don't think he knows he has the Vox, and I hope he gives it the shot. The problem he's going to encounter is fucking good. It's significantly better than anything, you're going to get. Anything that you've been able to buy in the last 10 years for less than $1,000, a Matsumoto built guitar is going to be better than it, especially if it's like a West Tone or it's a Vox or an Aria Pro. It's going to be better. It's better. Are you good enough to get it? I was talking about this earlier on with the Washburn Falcon. I loved it, but I wasn't worthy of playing it. I had to persevere to get worthy of playing it, and then it's the best sounding guitar you can get. Apart from, it's like the whole, you've got to beat it. Hey, Buster, yeah, honestly. But you not notice, I see when you look at the routing and stuff, something else. It might be harder to play. It might not sound as good, because see if you make a mistake on a pure premium guitar, like pure high as it goes, it tells you. So instead of being like pure on a shit guitar, it's like dun 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 dun. Being the bad bit, dun 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 dun. Whereas if you're playing it on a premium one, it's like pure boom 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 boom. Boom, boom. That's what the mistakes are like. So you've just got to fucking beat the bastard. But see, when you get it right, it's just boom 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 boom. It's just like repeated, totally unbeatable. You do get you maybe get some day, and I don't think you get a lot. Day Honor again, a company that gets sold in 1983 when Yamaki split under. So anything after 1983 doesn't count. That basically could be a Washburn, a Day Honor, any multitude of cheap Korean guitars, but they've got the brand because they bought the brand for 15 quid. You know what I mean? You got to keep in. So Matt Spelt Vox has got Pontiac. See, to be honest, Ravensmead, we were talking about that. It's called It Might Get Loud. I've actually been weirdly in the last week watching it. And I saw that bit of the video. He's sitting, there's not a cow standing next to him. He's like in a pure old ranch thing, and he's got like a Fender pickup, a bottle, slide a plank of wood. That kind of inspired me to build the Malcocaster. And then that was the start of it. When I realized, because basically my pal had given me a neck that had a really bad chip out of the front seat below where one of the tuners is. So you could still put the tuner on. It just looked really shit. And it was like a really amber glow. I think it was a stag neck. I can't remember. And that was basically all I had. And after watching that Jack White thing, I thought, yeah, here we go. So I got a couple of planks of wood, roughly glued them together. Not quality glued together like this. You know, I mean, it's like seamless. Not this quality, but basically this kind of idea, the first attempt. And then I just chiseled it out. I didn't have any sort of routers. Chiseled out the neck pocket, put it in, put a BC. I didn't. This is back to the point where I didn't have scratch plates and screws and shit. So the bridge is just it's a BC Rich neck pickup screwed into the bridge, and it worked. It worked, and it was like I couldn't believe it was like suddenly it was like, and it was like a pal Peg who doesn't. Well, I don't imagine watch these things, but having a jam, get my pals around him. Have a jam. I was like, I have a shot in the Malcocaster, and after one song, he was like, "No, I'm playing this one," and it was like, really? No, that's just rocking it. Fucking no, hold on, no. That I built that using. It's meant to be a joke. It's meant to be. I thought it carried quite good, but I mean, I could have given him a real guitar at the time. I had my Gibson SG and all that. So I'll play this. It's fine, and it was just immense. Pre-83. I'm not sure when it changed because I've got a Vox bass which has got some similar things to Buster's, and Buster was quite annoyed that I got it. He's kind of tried. He didn't physically actually offer money for it, but he definitely said, I want that. Use it. A Vox. But one of the things about mine is I know it doesn't make any difference to anything, but it's called the White Shadow. That's worth 50% just because it's got that name, as opposed to being like a PBX3 or whatever. You know, it's like, no, it's a White Shadow. It's like, whoa. White Shadow. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect anything, but so mine is an 84 and it's Tushin built. There are elements of the one that Buster bought that are similar. It's got like the P-bass pickup is very close to the bridge and has a phase switch. So does Buster. So that's kind of come on from mine. But the thing is, the one I've got is like 84. Totally looks like an Ibanez RG, which is like, oh, what? It's after the Ibanez RG. Of course, there's lots of guitars that look like the Ibanez RG. No, this is 3 years before the Ibanez RG existed, and it looks like an Ibanez RG. It's got the point, very similar pointiness, the binding and stuff like that. But yeah, Ravensmead, that whole the whole film, It Might Get Loud is brilliant because going for a guitarist, I think everyone has to actually like The Edge or Jimmy Page or Jack White. You might, I don't know if there's that many people that love all three. Do you know what I mean? But I think everyone must like what's a very cleverly done one. Somebody, if you play guitar and you're into music and stuff, you will like The Edge or Jimmy Page or Jack White. They are equal but totally different, but the same. And it's like for me, after I kind of like Jack White anyway. Obviously, Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, so that's fine. And The Edge, I was like, a bit of a dick, isn't he? After watching that, I'm a proper Edge fan. No problem. No problem. There's so many bits. It's so funny and lightweight, and they kind of managed to make it. You kind of make sense of people. Like, if you've not seen it, watch the bit where Jimmy Page listens to Link Ray. He does a song called is it the I can't remember what the song's called now. That's basically all the song does, and you watch Jimmy Page looks out the original 45 and he puts it on. Listen to this one, and he's kind of air guitaring along with it. And during the 2 or 3 minutes of that song, you can see in his face why he became Led Zeppelin. It's all in that Link Ray song. It's not called the Crunge, but it's called something like that. The Strut, the Rumble, Ravensmead, you're right, the Rumble. And it's when you watch Jimmy Page and he's like up here, ding, ding, brr, and he knows every single microtone in that. And there's so much you can hear stuff going on and it makes you love it. And the same thing with where you get Jack White, who's sitting there with he's like, you can make a guitar out of anything, plank of wood, bottle, one bass string, Telecaster pickup, hammer and nails, playing a tune. Okay, and then you get the Edge. There's one point where he's standing. There's two bits with the Edge. Actually, there's a bit where he's talking about one of the pure famous songs. I don't like U2, right? But I like the Edge now because of that film. And he's talking about so I've got this song, and he's got his wee cassette 4-track, and he's got his delay thing. So I went into the band, and this is what I'm actually playing. Or whatever, something like that. The rest of the band are going, you're a dick. And he goes up here, yeah, and he puts on the effects pedal, and it becomes dun 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 dun. You know, it's one of the massive U2 songs. It's because it's all the delay pedals doing all the work, but he's got to pick the one wee beep dun in it, and it works really well. And then that bit pure blew me away. And then the other bit was he was standing at one of a bridge on a beach, a couple of Vox amps on the beach, and he's playing one of his big hits, standing there like, Camera Crew, Sunset, Estuary. And he's like, up here, so did you do this often? And he looks around and goes, up here. Every week, man. Up here, yeah. Every week, he wheels a fucking mobile truck down onto the beach, generators, amps, to play in front of the sunset. He's a funny guy, and I like him. We're getting some interaction here. But if you've not seen it might get loud. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but some of it is anyway. Frank Perricone. I don't know that. Yes, no. After watching it, I totally love the three of them. Are just like, as guitarists, I maybe not know that much of all their work, but amazing. This is like the simple thing after the X-Paps, after you just put oops caps in caps, because it does always happen. When suddenly you go like up here, was that not Paul McCartney? Is very different from, was that not Paul McCartney? When you're talking about who wrote that song. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I never really dug the Edge at all. But I mean, I get it now. I like the guy. I don't necessarily. There's some U2 songs I don't hate, but there's a lot of them I don't like. But again, it depends when you were about. You got to remember, I was kind of kicking about when, like, Achtung Baby was like a big hit album, and the streets have got name, and yeah, okay, they're all right. But at that time, nobody I knew had heard Kashmir or Paranoid or Sabbath Bloody Sabbath or Paint It Black. So I'm going, yeah, that's kind of, have you heard this? And they were going, oh, that's pure shite. Listen to, pure shitey U2 crap that you've like, no. No, and the same when it came out with the Britpop thing. I was like, oh, it's pure great. And I was like, have you heard Symptom of the Universe? Have you? I had a different thing. I don't even know if I was born when you two started, if I'm totally honest. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, as I said it during this, it's like, I'm not saying that I'm 100% right and totally, I'm not God. It's like, I've just got my opinion, and my opinion can change when things come in. My opinion of The Edge changed very much when I saw that It Might Get Round thing, when I realized he's really cool. He's a really cool guy. His music's maybe not my thing. The same thing happens with, like, see, Steve Vai and Joe Satriani as well. I like the person. Doesn't mean I want to listen to a whole Steve Vai album. That's a bit much, but I mean, the guy is hilarious and brilliant. He's not his taste. The kind of things come in. And I've seen Bill Bailey live from about 10 feet away at the BBC in the West End in Glasgow. And I can't remember any of it. I was drunk. Guys, you later, Buster. You work and stuff. But I need to see your rock bass, and I will come and see you. I was going to come and see you when I came down to see when I went to get those two basses, but it was like 10 o'clock at night, and it's like not really something you can just turn up at someone's door at 10 o'clock at night and be like, look at the two basses up. It's like, maybe a bit different. Yeah. So catch you later, Buster. Really is a genius. My thing that got me was he did a thing, I don't know if it was the prog top 10. There used to be a thing maybe the mid-90s when there was a BBC series that ran for a few weeks on BBC Two, and it was like pure the top 10 of heavy metal, the top 10 of, I don't know, but it was the top 10 of prog. And Bill Bailey was playing an organ. He's like, yeah, prog. And he peers into the camera, and you're up here, yes. This guy's got it. I think I'm pretty sure actually when I saw him in the live floor show, he played Enter Sandman on like car horns, you know, the wee sort of rubber thing with a trumpet on it. So he's like, I'm pretty sure he played that when I saw him. Don't listen to the guitar players. Maybe Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck, it's like, Jeff Beck doesn't have, can you argue that he's got 10 pure classic songs? No, it's like, but when you watch him, it's like, this is a man with the kung fu. I cannot fault. I mean, it's beautiful to watch. He doesn't have any really pure amazing songs. Obviously, ones that really kick out, but is the absolute master. I mean, I can't even touch him when he's playing shit with a tremolo arm. That's just a tremolo. How'd you go? You know what I mean? Pure. And the thing is, if you do these things and you're not absolutely perfect, it just sounds like you're a drunk idiot. But he's absolutely perfect. No, I mean, the guy's an absolute. I mean, Jeff Beck. I've got half a dozen of his albums. Some of them are too much for me to really understand. But I mean, when you see him playing, No Line on the Horizon. I don't know. No, I don't know that. I did quite like the one that went da-dun, da-dun. I quite like that da-dun. That was my era, probably 20 years ago, which makes you sick. I don't know. Beck is. I don't. The thing you're saying there, Pontiac, is like you got to remember the rebellion thing. Because see, when I was, let's say 14, maybe a bit before that, which I think happened a little bit later when Oasis came out, it was the cool thing. It was like pure. Oh, it's a pure. I'm pure cool. It's like I'll buy a. Oh, you two are pure amazing. That's great. Have you heard anything else at all? No. I knew that you two were cool because that's what everyone likes. So I bought 4 of their albums. Have you heard? No. Do you? No. I only left, and it's like without any. So I was kind of like sitting there, I know the same thing happened with Oasis. People going like, have you heard fucking T-Rex? You know, have you heard Black Sabbath? That must happen all the time. But I mean, you two do have some good tracks. Bono is a bit of a wank, though, has to be said. Well, you're lucky to have picked the right instrument. I don't know. That's when it comes in. It's like if you can play the keyboard, you can play anything. I don't know, or a banjo. I mean, you play heavy metal banjo. I don't know. Headbangers, but I don't know. I don't. I was. That's before my time. To be honest, for me, it was Beavis and Butthead were on Channel 4 in the middle of the night, and music didn't. I didn't understand music. I remember, you know, like the first album I ever bought was fucking Michael Jackson, Bad. Let's be honest, which now I like, but it kind of went in and out very quickly. And then it was Kylie Minogue's album, so that's my era. And I remember watching U2, and not U2, Guns N' Roses, one of the Use Your Illusion tour concerts, like at 11 o'clock on a black and white telly when I was like 13 or something. And it was shite. I hated it. But then I would see, I'd hear a Stones song and it would pure blow my mind. It just depends what it is that really affects you. Catch you later, Jez. I'm about to go. That's been 3 hours, 20 minutes. Because there's still 20 people. If you get 20 people still listen to you, keep playing, man. All right, maybe Frank. If does he get boring after a couple of songs? I'll be totally honest and say I don't know if I've seen a whole Jeff Beck concert. I've not been at one. I've not seen him live, but you know, I'm just talking about on telly and stuff. A wee bit like a night, Jess. A wee bit like when you watch Young Wee Malmsteen. Young Wee Malmsteen, definitely the first song, and most of the second song, it's pure yes. And then when it gets to the third song, it's like, and then the fourth song, you're like, can we put something else on? You know, it's like, well, I don't doubt that there are amazing Jeff Beck stuff. I mean, the guy, you watch him play the guitar, he's just got that. He's one of those folk that you can watch for 20 seconds playing, you know, I don't know what he'd be playing, like playing the advert for IKEA or something. And it would be like pure, he would play that advert for IKEA. Amazing. Or playing like, you know, fucking Super Mario Land or something. He could make that work. It's just got such a vocal ability on the guitar. You can't deny it. It's just, I enjoy watching him play the guitar and listening to the guitar. He's maybe not necessarily got tons of tunes that I find pure catchy that I want to hum. So maybe after a song or two, it doesn't work. It becomes too much. Or maybe it's a case of if you're covering too many genres. You know what I mean? It's like pure, so he comes on with a rock song and then it's a jazz song. You're like, and it's another jazz song with 2 jazz songs in a row, man. And then it's a slow one. Like, no. Doesn't fit. The album with Put Your Boots On. Boots single, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the albums I've got. I don't have any Jeff Beck albums that I would actually put on and love it. I do have the Blow by Blow, which is the one that's George Martin, which kind of Beck's. But I've got like a Jan Hammer one. I've got Jeff Beck's Guitar Shop, which I bought because the cover was like I think it was a drawing or a painting of him with like a guitar on a ramp, you know, with him down a pit, like it's a car, but it's a guitar and he's changing the pickups. Kind of bought that, and it's, you put it on, it's a bit, and it's like, it's very like Joe Satriani or something. It was a pure guitar, woohoo, ah, yeah, woohoo, guitar, do, ha ha, guitar, woohoo, ah, and it's like, pure. Is it a tune? Are you singing? No, just it's not really, it's no way catchy. It's difficult to play, and I can appreciate that I can't do it or even ever go there. And it is in tune, but it doesn't have like the opposite of that fucking, what do you call it? The Pete Bog guys, what Pete Diesel guys. Da 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 da. It's like 4 notes. The whole song's just 4 chords. Yes. It's much better than playing the right notes. Jeff Beck at home in his guitar room talking. Can you stick the link in that? Because I'd probably watch that. Oh, you're talking about Jan Hammer? Ah, but it works because they're working together. It's like, I don't know. There's some things you can listen to, and I just feel I don't know enough to listen to it. Hey, Scott, I can't believe you're still watching me. I take it you're just having a wee break. You've not been watching me just getting drunk. Well, I've already talked about we're next week we're doing me and Scott are doing a video for Roadstars and Ibanez in general. In fact, we need to get your RG in there as well. So we've got the full Ibanez chatty thing going on. I'm a good mover. Yeah. I do not have tickets for Aussie next year. Aussie's not very well just now. I don't know. See, the thing is, I was from when I was like 14 when I first held Paranoid. I was an absolutely mental Ozzy Osbourne fan. Totally nuts. I didn't know he had a solo career till a couple of years later when I got like the tribute, the Randy Rhoads tribute things. Always got a solo career as well. I had already played the guitar for. It's hard to believe this happened. I'd already played the guitar for a year when I didn't realize Ozzy Osbourne wasn't the guy playing the guitar, because it was Black Sabbath the anthology, a book I had, and a picture of Tony Iommi playing his SG. I didn't know, and I had the records. I didn't know he wasn't the one that. It's mental. And then I saw the No More Tours video was out. Was that all right? Ozzy's retired, and then somebody was like, he's playing the Barras. What? Ozzy Osbourne's still alive. Ozzy Osbourne's playing the Barras that I can get to easily on a train in 15 minutes. The Barras, and the tickets was a tenner. I can go and see Ozzy Osbourne, and it was like pure mind. It was There's 2 gigs. My 2 best gigs I've ever been to ever were at the Barras, and one of them was. I'm not going to say it was my first gig, although I could, because if I just missed out the first 3 or 4, Ozzy, and then that Baby Metal one at the same location. Amazing. But I do not. I saw him at Download. Last year was cancelled. The year before was cancelled. The year before that, Ozzy was playing, and he had no idea what he was doing. He didn't know where he was. He was only on the stage for. He's basically. I thought he was just drunk or drugged, but I think he's ill. He was funny. I saw him at the Black Sabbath doing the Black Sabbath the End thing. The third last gig Black Sabbath ever played, I was at, because he played Glasgow and then they did 2 gigs in Birmingham, and that was the end of Black Sabbath. So I saw him then, and he was much better there than when I saw him at Ozfest. At Ozfest, basically, it was a Zakk Wylde's. For most of it, and in memory, I was obviously drunk. I've been up all day, but he only seemed to play half a dozen songs, and most of it was just Zakk Wylde on his own, no backing at all, going. And he would basically change guitar halfway through every song, and every one would be one of his Zakk Wylde guitars. So it would be like half SG, half Line V, half Mockingbird, half Bitch, half Stratocaster, half Flying V. It was just, and they were all painted mental. And it was really bad. And I don't think Ozzy came out and go up here. There's no change, no change. But it was just like it was kind of like someone who was, I don't know. But if you've never seen him, go. But I think if you have seen him when he was still running, I mean, I even noticed the difference between when I saw him in 96, 95 when he played the Barras, and then I saw him again. I went to Ozfest 98. And from that, he went from Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. He played the song both times. And when I saw him in the Barras, it was like, you've seen life through distorted eyes. And then when I saw him at Ozfest, it was, you've seen life through distorted. What? It went very different. Blow by Blow. Yeah, that's the George Martin produced one. You know it's good quality. Yeah, but the thing is, there's still people here, man. But if you try to say you're playing a gig in front of 20 folk who are still listening to you, rabbiting on, no matter how shite you think you become, you stay on. I'm nearly out of booze though. So there's only that much left in the bucky caster. Any cheap brands of pickups need a humbucker or a humless single for a P90 hole in the neck position? Wow, you're totally covered all the grounds there with wanting. You don't have a name. Your name's just I. Okay. Cheap brands of pickups, yes. Humbucker or humless single for a P90 hole. If it's a P90 hole, you need a stacked P90 really to fit in the hole. I would have a look at basically Warman or Wilkinson. I think they're both basically the same thing. I don't know about the humless thing. The thing about the humless thing is, I've got a guitar in tonight. I got it picked up this afternoon from a chap with a modern Gretsch, which is sort of P90 shaped pickups in it. And he's happy, yeah, they're just not P90s. He's happy, I don't know if I've seen them, but they're just not P90s. It's like, so he's bought like Wilkinson P90s, I think it was 30 quid for the pair. And he's had them before in a Les Paul, and it's like, it's not difficult. But the thing is, as soon as you put a stacked P90 in, or a noiseless P90, it's not a P90 anymore. It's a P90 shaped pickup. A P90 has to have all the interference, all the high gate, all the fucking gonna take your face off. That's what a P90 is. Even if you put it in a jazz guitar and you turn it up full bung and batter it, it does that. A P90 is like an untamed tiger attacking you. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like, well, we'll just make it a stack one, it'll sound the same, and what you get there is, those cats you get that kind of have the tiger pattern on it. So it's like, you can tickle its chin and shit, whereas like that a real P90 is a tiger. You look at it and it kills you immediately. That's the difference. So I mean, you can't go far wrong with it. Wilkinson, Warman are ultimately, I don't know. See, the thing I like about Warman, he's not. I think, to be honest, he's maybe slightly cheaper, but it's basically the same thing. Do you see the pickups I put in that? They are just ones I bought from China, P90s. I don't think Warman will ever watch this. I hope he doesn't. But I think they're just the same pickups. They're just making them in a Chinese factory. I've never come across. See, when you buy new pickups like humbuckers, I've seen a few videos of folk doing it, buying like what's the guy's name that everyone hates? Braun. I don't mind that guy. He's all right. He bought like neon green Seymour DiMarzio Super Distortion lookalikes for his guitar. They were like 12 quid or 15 quid for the pair, and he put them in a guitar, and they were better than what was in the guitar. But they were, because a pickup is just fucking poles with a magnet and wire wrapped around it. So if you use the same kind of magnet and you wrap the wire around the same amount of times, it's the same pickup. So the difference is, you go up here, people loving the Wilkinson and the Iron Gear. Go up here, yeah, it's totally 95% exactly the same as the one it's copying. It totally is. But see the ones you actually buy for like 12 quid for a pair from China, they don't have a make on them, but they are kind of the same. So I'm not saying if you've got like a company like Wilkinson or Warman putting pick, I really shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Giving them specs and going, I want you to build that. I've got these pure amazing specs. I've pure got them nailed. This is exactly a 1956 Stratocaster pickup, exactly the specs. I want you to build this to some Chinese factory. They're going to go, no problem, they'll build them. Right? So are they just going to build the same pickup because they've now got the ingredients and then stick it on eBay for a tenner direct? Yes, they are. They are. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to go, let's try and make some single coil pickups. How do you want to make them? I don't know. Well, we got this company that gave us the specifications to make expensive ones. Do you want to just copy that? So that kind of works that way. Whatever. Everyone's going to sleep now. It's 3 hours and 34 minutes of drinking live on the internet. Once I've decided that I'm allowed to smoke fags on the internet, I will. And that's not the American term of smoking fags. It's like smoke. We call cigarettes fags. So it's like that's all right. Just in case you were thinking, out smoke some fags, as in going out shooting puffs or shooting gay people. No. They're very, 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 very dumb drunk. Very, very different. Contact, but go and buy the cheap ones and give them a shot. If you can wire them in yourself, give it a shot and see. It's amazing. Everyone's going to bed now, so I think I've got to I can't believe you're still here, Scott. But there you go. Yeah, so turn this around so you can actually hear me. We've got to buy cheap pickups. Well, because yes, but I mean the thing is, well, because they're still cheap. I mean, I'm still talking about. I think the guy with the Gretsch is like 30 quid he paid for 2 pickups, and it's like, I mean, I paid, I don't know, 15 quid for the 2 for the SG. Even if they're the same, is it worth it just to get it so you know they're right? Would you like a shot of your 1987 Ibanez music video? I missed it. I think XXX Paps is. Am I imagining it? Are you not an American? Just farted live on the internet. Yeah. 1978 Ibanez musician. That would fit quite well in our video. Pontiac Glasgow Apollo. Have you heard If You Want Blood, You Got It? That was where it was filmed. I've never been to the Apollo. It was destroyed before I was, not before I was born, but I think the last gigs were maybe 1980 or something, so I'd have been 8. So I don't have that. Shoot me if you got them. Yeah, but the If You Want Blood, You Got It. It's like, I remember first AC/DC song I heard was the single for Whole Lot of Rosie from that, and it was Angus, and it was very obviously Glasgow folk going Angus, because that's what we sound like. Whereas if you were in somewhere else and you're in London, Angus, not the same as Angus. They don't have the gravel. Oh no, I'm losing the telly. I've already been saying I've been hanging up for nearly an hour now. Neck through. Oh man. Yeah, Scott. Unfortunately, I think I'm pretty sure XXX Paps is either American or basically not on this side of the pond. It would be nice if he just lived in, you know, I mean, Hamilton or something. But here, totally between me and you, that's great. You 5-minute detour, borrow your Ibanez studio. That'd be fun. You're a fifer. Wow. It's amazing how you just don't know these things, eh? I think there's an element of people who won't watch me because they don't. I think a lot of video people probably click into my videos and then after 3 seconds go, "What the hell is that guy? I don't understand. What language is this?" So if you're a fifer, you understand me. That's fine. So awesome. The Kingdom. Mangus. I don't know what Mangus is. Anyhow, thanks everyone. I love doing this shit. It's amazing. 85? The Apollo, maybe. Well, I mean, you're still talking 85. I'd have been. I don't know. All right, I know. Hold on. In 1980, I was 2. So in 85, I was 7. So that's kind of given me. I'm well aware of it being meant to be the best gig in the universe ever. Well, apparently, I had a really high stage and it was all seating. So if you were at the front, it was like the band were up there somewhere. So you'd like an 8-foot high stage. I don't know. I'm a fifer, you Raj. Is Raj a fifer thing? I know that from Stirling. Thing is, Scotland's mental. You don't have to go very far away until everyone goes nuts. I mean, if you're not Scottish, I've got like. If you're from Glasgow, you think I'm some sort of ponce because I've got a really posh accent. partly because I'm a pure posh bastard, and also I'm kind of trying to speak slowly and clearly for YouTube so people can understand me. Most Glasgow people are just, whereas I'm a bit more, all right, how's it go? A little bit less. But, trying to be a little bit more clearness. Yeah. Anyway, so check out. I'm going to bed. It's there's still people watching. Scotland. I'm posh. I've got a degree. You know that. Remember, Scotland invented everything. I was saying this to Civet earlier on. We invented a lot, like TV and radio and tires and stamps and all that. Everything. Okay, I think Edison did the electricity, but everything else was Scottish people. And 4:30 a.m. I take it it's 4:30 in the afternoon. So you'll be ready to go to the shop and get yourself some. All right, joking. I don't know. I mean, time's a scary one. Hey, Cameron, thanks for keeping in. I'll do a video of your guitars tomorrow. I don't want to be too drunk. Yeah, totally. No, it's like Jeff, as exactly. If you're still in there, it's a different thing. It's like I could go see from where I am. Right, I'm on the east of Glasgow, so I kind of fit into the Glasgow accent. See if I go to Kilsyth, which is 6 miles away in that direction, it starts to change. See if I go to Stirling, which is 10 miles away, entirely different. If I go to Edinburgh, completely different. If I go past Stirling and keep going to Fife, the Kingdom, entirely different. But we're talking, it's an hour and a half. Within an hour and a half, I can go from my voice, which is really deep, to the Fifers, which are I can do a Fife accent if I've been working with someone from Fife. Basically, it's dead easy to copy, but I can't remember it now. I would just be insulting you. Right. Everyone's kind of stiggled. I'll just stay up until it ends. It's ending. Rock and roll. I love you all. Videos coming next week will be exciting. I got a good response from me and Scott kind of sitting and just not really giving a shit watching a video type so kind of maybe go a little bit more in that direction. I was meant to do a video with Cameron earlier on, but he went. He was in a rush to go and see Doctor Hook, and it's like, I've heard some of Doctor Hook, and it's like, I did see the tickets you were talking about though, and I thought, nah, not for me. But you got some fantastic guitars. The reason I'm not talking about it on the live stream is because I think I can get a better video out of it. I know that the audio for the live thing, you're not really getting it. I mean, you can hear that there's something playing, but you're not hearing. I mean, I could be playing, the Pantera, or I could be playing the cheapest, shitest guitar. As long as it was in tune, it wouldn't matter. Tara Chuck, rocking. Love you all. Thanks very much. You can learn Scottish from the movie Trainspotting a little bit. Basically, I didn't watch Trainspotting. I didn't like it because it was too close to home, and I knew somebody who died from when I was like 18 or something. Basically from Trainspotting. It was just like too close to the bone. It's not all like that. Rock on. I love you all. Thanks so much for everything. I'm loving doing this. Lots of videos coming next week. Feel free to drop me a message or a question or whatever, and I'll maybe answer it. I'll put it in next week's thing or whatever. Love you all. Not pressed the button yet. Button. No, still not pressed.